Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here live tonight on a Sunday, the 8th of June already. Welcome to Tarnation TV's YouTube channel, some live NASCAR Racing 2003 season for you. From the prime time racing week tonight, the Sunday Speedway Spartans series.
I've reset it. The other car, and I reset it.
I'm ready to come back in.
The Sunday Speedway Spartans series continues here tonight with race number 2 of 3 in their playoffs. So, hey, next week is championship time. Currently, my name is Blaine Donlin. We're waiting on Rod Weston, but as a special guest backup, the one and only Brian Wolf. How are you this evening, sire?
I am doing great, and I am just going to change the premise just a tiny bit and say, hey, now, what's happening? What's happening? Looking forward to this one, Blaine. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, this is a cool little setup here. We got some different points we're going to have to talk about how they do their playoff races here at prime time. The 3-race playoff series really can change drastically from week to week, which is very, very neat. Watch what happened last week. We came in here. Randy Waugh came in the very last position in number 10, and he ended up winning the race and jumping right up to second place because he got those 15 bonus points. So anything can happen. If you can get a top 3, you get additional bonus points for finishing on the podium here. We'll see what happens. We got 2 races left. We were supposed to go with race 2 last week. Unfortunately, Danny had to work, so we bumped it up. So join us here next Sunday for the finale.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned Randy Waugh with that win he had, and I know Dan mentioned earlier that if he would, if he can pull off a win tonight, like he did, a few weeks back or whatever, he's right back in this thing. I think he's less than 25 points behind in second place. Current leader, I believe, is Greg Lovell.
Yeah, they came into the playoffs. They reset all the points for the playoff drivers. So they took the top 10 guys at the end of the season. They stuck them all into the playoff bracket. So everybody had 1,000 points. And with the 1,000, they all come in. It's free games. So the first race was a big one. You can see here on screen, Greg Lovell has 1,231 points, and Randy Waugh's right behind him with 1,200. Jumped right up to that spot. And then you can see the 3 drivers at the bottom, 8th, 9th, and 10th, Sandoval, Eric Lovell, and Mingus, with an even 1,000. They did not make it last week. So that's why they've all got an even 1,000 points. And I'm looking at the thing. Ulysses is here today. I do not see Eric, and I do not see Gary. He was here in practice a half an hour ago, but maybe he's coming back.
To speak on that a little even further, Greg Lovell, the points leader, I'm looking at TeamSpeak, and I'm not seeing him yet. He needs to get on the gas pedal and get in here.
Yeah, I mean, these guys know the start time, which is always so funny because they know, okay, qualifying starts at, say qualifying starts at 8:50. At like 8:47, 3 or 4 new guys might just pop in here. So we won't say anything until we're officially into qualifying. But Rod Weston, usually my co-host here on Sundays, he races in real life too. So he's at the track probably right now. He still has about 10 minutes to make it. If he doesn't make it for qualifying, he's not getting in either. But yeah, thank you very much to Brian Wolf for you coming in here like last minute. I literally texted you 3 minutes ago, and you downloaded the game, you downloaded the mod, you installed all the cars. You got it done quick.
I wouldn't say it was that fast, but yeah, man, it's my pleasure to do this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kind of takes me back to when we first started this, 4 or 5 years ago, when we called some races together that were not leagues that we particularly ran in, but we really had some fun with it, and tonight's going to be fun too. I got my screen set on Randy Waugh. I'm going to be really watching him tonight.
Yeah, it was very, very cool last week. It was out of nowhere. Greg dominated the race. Like, how many laps did he lead? Greg Lovell, he led the most laps last week with 70, and I'm pretty sure it was like a 90-lap race. And he made one mistake, and that's what cost him the lead.
And then is that when Randy Waugh took off and won?
Okay.
You okay, sir?
Apparently the pets are being fed right now. So
Okay.
you got to get the wife's got to get the battering ram out to come into this room and then get the pet food. So it's
Oh
like
goodness.
ka-chow. It's like the Kool-Aid man coming through the wall. It's dinner time. But yeah, anyway.
I just told our viewers and fans that it sounded like you had a soap opera going on in the background.
Yeah. The last week's race was fantastic. Like Greg dominated the thing, led 70 laps, led the most laps, and he made one mistake. And that one mistake cost him that win. And Randy was able to capitalize on late cautions and just be in front. It was wild. So anything can happen. And when you can see on the screen here now, what we're really focusing on is that bottom portion. Bonus points for the top 3 podium drivers. If a driver wins the race, they're awarded the points that they would get normally that the game would generate in the export. So if you win, I think it's 180. And then if you win the most laps, you get 185. And then you get an extra 15 points in this league to win a race in the playoffs. So that's what happened to Randy. That's why he got 200 points even after last week's win. So even second and third place, +5, and an additional 2 points for third place. It's a big deal, especially when you're talking about, what can really happen in a 3-race playoff. This makes it happen. This extra points that are available for podium finishes are a big deal. It can really shuffle this card around again. Because you're looking at that, like Denny Carroll in 4th. If he wins, he's walking out of here with 200 points. Same with Danny Lovell. He's walking out of here with 200 points. So it's be interesting to see what happens. So far, we've got about 14 guys practicing, so.
Yeah, I just saw. So we were talking about Greg Lovell. He just come in, so he's
Perfect.
made it. Yeah, Keith Bynum has also showed up. Denny Carroll and the old number 55, Ken Roberts, who usually races with us on Fridays and Saturdays. So yeah, there's businesses picking up. And I wanted to touch on one of the things that makes this scoring so interesting and it just proves my point. I've always said this: you just never give up, because even though Greg dominated that race, one mistake can be another guy's, fortune, big fortune.
Yeah.
Like Randy Waugh capitalized, like you said, and now he's right back in it. So that's going to make this race tonight very interesting going into the championship.
And the names on the screen are the only drivers that could win the championship. Everybody else on the track is racing their race, and the more the merrier. So there's that whole dynamic too of like, if you're not in the playoffs, do you help a specific driver? Do you not help a specific driver? There's all kinds of different angles that we can look at this, because we're not 100% sure who's working with who. And, maybe this guy's won a lot of championships, and maybe he'll help somebody else win a championship instead. And you never know what's going to happen. Or it just comes down to just being in a different spot on the track at the right time. And you're like, well, I was going to help that guy, but I just changed my mind because this is going to work better for me. A bunch of different things could happen.
It's really neat to watch some of these things unfold, especially coming down to the last laps of this race. And then is next week we have what, 2 more after this? One more?
Yep.
One more. Okay, so coming down to the last laps of this one, everybody's going to have that on their shoulders. They know what they got to do, not only this time but next week as well.
Yeah, I mean, next week will be very cool. The first race is always tough because everybody's got the same amount of points. Those points have been added up. You can see them on screen. Of course, after this week, this will all change again. Then it could come down to that, you know, if somebody needs those 15 points, if they need the win to get those 15 bonus points, and then you're talking about that what if. Like the only way that'll work is if this guy finishes in third or lower. Otherwise, he's going to win no matter what. Like there's all kinds of these. It'll be a full-time job next week, I guess is what I'm trying to say, of doing all these mathematical equations we have to try to figure out to see who's going to be where and where you have to finish to beat this guy, and he's got to be down here. So it's like, you know, if Greg finishes in fifth, then this is possible. And it'll be cool. I think they're in a drivers meeting currently.
You know, it's funny. It's funny that it's not funny, but I mean, to think about that, doing that math and figuring things out is kind of easier for us. But if you're a driver here in those top three, you're doing math in your head every lap around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially if you're a guy who really is trying for the championship, you know what you got, you know who you got to beat, you know by how much, and you know, and certain things have to play out, you know, and every scenario changes every few laps. You know what I mean?
And that's it.
You know,
somebody on the track is, you know, we're up here and we can crunch the numbers. We got calculators. I know I can mute my mic and you can do your thing and we can really focus in on it. Where when you're driving, but then you're privy to more information too. Like maybe you're in cahoots with somebody else that's not going to pass you. Like, man, I will push you. Well,
exactly.
We don't know that. Like, we're just assuming you got the speed, you pit later, you got fresher tires, you're just going to drive by a guy, but they could maybe stay behind him. And next week we're racing, you can see on screen here, at the and on June 15th, which will be next Sunday at Spartans Speedway, which is a big super speedway style track. And it'll be a lot of fun because I've never seen this track before.
I never have either. Is it another version of Talladega?
No, I believe it was made in the late 2000s. It's a fictional super speedway. I believe it's kind of like, it's like if you took Michigan, like I think I remember Danny explaining, it's sort of like if you took Michigan from like turn 4 to turn 1 and you just mirrored it, it almost races in a big circle, he said. So it's like a it's like a D-shaped oval, but it's a mirror image. The back straight's not straight. So it's going to be neat. I've never seen this track. It sounds like it's fast. I mean, obviously the name of the league is the Sunday Speedway Spartans, so there's going to be speed involved. But it'll definitely be cool. Brand new track to broadcast. I'm excited. Nobody knows what's going to go on it. How's this track run? Is it 4 lanes wide? Is there one groove better than the other? I don't know.
Yeah, you got me excited now because that's going to be very interesting. I'm very interested to see that track. So I'm glad to be on up here with you guys next week as well. Yep. I don't wish anything bad on Brad, but I'm glad he's racing for real life, so I get the opportunity to do. Who did I say? Brad, yeah, Rod Weston. Brad, yeah, okay. Brad was your other buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad to be able to get to do this, and especially next week. Now you got me excited to watch these things.
Yeah, it's cool. If Rod racing on Sundays, he lets me know in advance. I'm like, okay, well, I'll get someone to sit in. So obviously that's being Brian the next 2 weeks. If Rod does show up, we do a 3-man broadcast. If Rod can't show up, at least I'm not stuck in here alone. So Brian will be back here next week regardless, and we'll be doing that. Because when are you busy with ASR? You got a bunch of stuff coming up with them.
Oh gosh, yeah. This actually does give me an opportunity to plug a new series we got coming at All Stars. On Sunday nights, starting on the 29th, we're going to be running an 8-week super speedway series in the Aero 88 mods.
Great mod.
The cars from 1988. They are so much fun to drive, and we're also for that series. It's a super speedway series, so we're bringing back John Godfrey and Rodney Sullen's version of Talladega, which is Burnt Screwdriver's Raceway. It's a really neat track. It offers 3 and sometimes even 4 wide racing.
Sorry to interrupt
just outstanding.
Did you remember to retire your car in qualifying? I don't know what they're doing right now.
I did not. I didn't see them go. I had my screen enlarged.
Maybe they didn't do it. I thought they switched over to qualifying. Sorry to interrupt.
No, they went back to practice. They
did.
reset back to practice. So,
But yeah, with ASR, you're doing, you were saying, sorry?
Yeah, so we're starting that new series. It's a super speedway series. We're going to run 8 weeks, and it's going to be total points collection. It's going to be old school scoring, just like they did back in 1988. Total points collection will win the trophy after 8 weeks, and so attendance is key. No more of this, winning you're in and chase and playoffs and segments and all that stuff. We're doing this whole old school. Races are going to go by quick. The 8 weeks is going to go by fast, and we're hoping to gain some traction and get some broadcasting going for it. We've got some awards planned and different things for the future. But right now, it's still in the testing phase. We're going to test some setups and stuff 2 weeks from now when we wrap up here, and then and we're going to go. We got a pretty big interest in it so far. It's gaining some traction. So we've got our logos out there, and look for it and come race with us on Sunday nights. It's going to be a blast. The Aero 88 mods. And then on Tuesdays, we have our normal truck series, which is fixed setup. Wednesday is our Cup series that follows the current scoring and follows the Cup schedule. And okay, that's a lot of fun. That's all open setup. Here we go. We're going to retire.
Right.
Knock.
Hey, Danny, what's happening, buddy? Live on
We're getting ready to
Tarnation.
queue right now, guys. So
Cool.
As soon as queue's over, I will bring you down.
Yeah, can you control that? Because Brian doesn't have a secondary monitor set up.
I
Is
can,
that possible?
I can pull you down.
Perfect. Do you want to do the same as last week?
Same
have
thing.
The drivers do the... Okay, perfect. We'll be ready to
They'll
go.
pull out in the order they qualified in.
Awesome.
All right, let's go queue.
Yeah, this is a very cool way of doing driver introductions. After they qualify, Brian, I'll get you to get on the standings page and get on the qualifying page. Brian will pull us down into the main room. We'll be able to talk to all the drivers. So if you could just set each driver up to do their intro, I will find them because they will do a lap as they talk. And I'll make sure to show their car on the screen while they're doing so.
Okay, yeah, as they're qualifying, actually, I can call them off because, not as they're qualifying, but I'm on the standings tab for qualifying right now live, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and then once we go into happy hour, we'll do the introductions.
I'll set mine back to qualifying, yeah.
Yeah, in order of their qualifying position, and then Danny will also have that. He'll call the next driver to get ready to go, and then that way they can go for a lap and we can kind of show their car. A little bit of a different spin on the driver intro so we actually visually get to see them. But yeah, Brian, you can just set them up, kind of be like, hey, Brian, the 44, take it away. And then it's up to them. So don't drop the ball, drivers. We're prepared. Are you? But yeah.
That's one of the funny things that we went back and forth with this past week. It's... I put up some links to download some stuff for our new series, and
so
I'm already getting the questions. You know what I mean? What track are we running? What's the mod?
So with the ASR Speedway series that you're running a version of Talladega all 8 weeks.
Yes.
Yep. ASR screwdriver or the burnt screwdriver raceway.
Yep, it's a 200-mile-an-hour chess game every single week, and depending on the turnout, it's going to be extremely competitive. Like I said, I think the short 8 weeks gives the drivers a sense of urgency while maintaining, good attendance and consistent finishes in order to win the trophy.
And that's that way of doing it, like old school points tally. Much easier for you in the long run, not having to calculate chase points and reset for playoff points. You say, you know what, we're just going to run it. Whoever has the most points at the end of it wins.
Is the champion. Yeah,
easy for you guys too behind the scenes to deal with all that.
Not only that, it makes it like you just said, it makes it easy on my admins and pushing all the buttons and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, let me see here. They're getting ready to go, and
I got about 30 seconds.
My camera's set up here.
Yeah, I'm looking at because I have the broadcast on my television with the sound down. I'm still looking at your screen with the
that's just the only one I really have with my the upcoming schedule.
I guess, okay, I'm seeing drivers on line 17. I guess that includes you and I, even though
Yes,
we're
it
not
does.
racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody connected to the server. Yeah. All right. So what
All
did
right, so it
who
looks like
qualified first? I guess we're gonna wait for the.
I've got the screen up. Brian Lovell took the pole at 41.529.
Cool.
And the foreign kid, Ulysses Sandoval, is in second. Third would be Randy Wall. Fourth, Greg Lovell. Five, Pat McCarsky. That's quite an effort out of that guy.
Yeah.
Sixth, Denny Carroll. Seventh, Danny Lovell. Eighth, Keith Bynum. The rest
all
chose
right, guys, I'm ready
not
to
to
pull
turn
you
a
down.
lap.
Sorry about the interruption here.
Okay, perfect. Yep, we'll go down there, and Brian, you can just call these guys off, starting with number one, and I'll get them lined up on the screen here for you.
Sure.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, I guess we're all done qualifying, so we're going to head into driver introductions. So, Brian Wolf, you're going to lead the way here, and I'll get you guys on screen as you take your lap.
Absolutely. Starting on the pole, number 44, Brian Lovell. Take it away.
Yeah, number 44 from Big Stone Gap, Virginia, Brian Lovell, representing Big Stone Gap Racing and Wolfpack Racing.
Starting second in the 096, Ulysses Sandoval.
What's up, Mr. Cheeseburger? Ready for some racing at prime time, baby?
Starting in the third position, number 21, Mr. Randy Wall, last week's winner.
Howdy, howdy. It's Randy from Huntsville, Alabama, driving the 21 Chevrolet. Shout out to my sons Christian and Corey, my grandsons Adrian, Asher, and Asa.
Good job. Good luck, Randy. Starting in the fourth position, number 8, Greg Lovell, is driving that gorgeous Crown Royal machine.
Yep. Greg Lovell driving the number 8 Ford Mustang Corona. Whatever the yellow Corona car. I don't know what that Corona is. But anyway, from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Let's have fun tonight, guys. This is for the championship. Well, one of the races for the championship. Let's try to keep it green. Have some green flag pit stops tonight. Good luck, everybody.
And good luck to you, Greg. Starting in the fifth position, number 97, probably one of the biggest sleepers in the entire sim community, Pat McCarsky.
Thank you. Number 97, Pat McCarsky, Brownsburg, Indiana. Good luck, everybody.
Starting in the sixth position, number 41, this guy is tough as nails, Denny Carroll.
I don't know where he's at, guys. I think
Go ahead, Dan. You roll on, and we'll let him do it at the end.
You guys are pushing him out, which is still working on the broadcast.
He did that last week.
Yeah.
Dan Lovell racing in a 388 Sparta car. Just want to say thanks for all you guys coming out and racing with us. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Blaine and Brian, for running the broadcast for us. Let's just keep it clean, guys. Have a good race. And I'm racing for Big Stone Gap Racing, by the way. And good luck, guys.
Outstanding. These guys, the following, did not choose to turn a lap, but starting in the ninth position, number 6, Brian Rawson.
Howdy, guys. Brian Rawson, Heath, Texas. How about them Cowboys?
How about those Cowboys? Starting 10th, number 55, Mr. Ken Roberts.
63, you missed over.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keith Bynum, starting in the 8th position. Turned a lap of 42.247. Number 63, Keith Bynum. Sorry about that, Keith.
Yeah, Keith Bynum driving the Primetime Racing League 63 Chevrolet Camaro. I represent these guys that we have hope we have a good race tonight. I praise the good Lord Jesus Christ. Thank him for each day we have here. And good luck, everybody.
And starting in the 10th position, 55, Ken Roberts.
Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. Ken Roberts, 55, West Bend, Wisconsin. Good luck, everybody.
Good job, Ken. Starting in the 11th position, number 711, John Godfrey, your friend and mine.
John Godfrey, 711, back to blue Camaro. Good luck, everybody.
Outstanding paint job, John. Good luck. Number 12, well, that's Blaine Donlin. Starting in the 12th position would be number 24, Graham McDonald.
Yeah, Graham McDonald from Sarnia, Ontario. I want to say hi to Chase. It's in case he's watching. You know, he never does. Good luck, everybody.
Are you back, Deanie?
No.
Deanie's back.
Starting in the 6th position, number 41, a guy who I believe is tougher than nails, Denny Carroll.
Howdy. Let's go racing, boys. I'm from LA tonight, Lower Appalachia.
And go ahead.
I didn't say nothing.
Finally,
I just hope we have a good race.
good job, 41. Good luck to you. Finally, last but not least, there is a Mingus among us, number 12, Gary Mingus.
I don't think he's on the track.
Did I miss anybody?
I believe we got everybody.
Thought Bob Dixon was here.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks again, guys, for the turnout here tonight. This should be good. California is always fun, and it looks good on a broadcast too. And yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody who's watching. Good luck to all the drivers. Round number 2 of 3. This should be a good race. So let's get this thing going.
Thanks again, Blaine, Brian.
Thanks, Blaine.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We're going to get a 5-minute happy hour, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do, and then we'll go race.
And as we wander back up here into the Tarnation TV tower, there you go. That's your starting grid. Minus a couple of hiccups, it seemed to go okay.
I think I did that okay. I'm sorry I skipped over Keith, but
yeah, I had to put the 388 back on the screen at the end because I realized when he was talking, I was so having such a great time watching them try to push the 41 out of the pits on the broadcast. I forgot to switch to the 388. So we got to Dan's intro, but forgot to look at Dan's car. But yeah. Anyway, this should be a good one. We're getting ready to race here in about probably about 5 minutes.
He's the guy I called tough as nails. They had to push him out of there. Yeah, it's going to be a fun race.
Yeah, that bumper is tough as nails because everybody was bashing him around trying to. It looked fun on the broadcast. That's why I forgot to switch it to the 388 when Dan was talking. But Dan's got a lot going on too. He runs the series here on Sunday, so. The boys are just out here practicing, so let's see if... Well, I got to turn my volumes back up. That's another thing with these driver introductions. I forget that when I've got the volume in the game up, we can't hear them talking, so I had to kind of go back and fix that. Anyhow, thanks for bearing with us. Green flag coming shortly. Everybody involved here tonight. All different experience levels. And California is a cool track, man. Lots of space out here. Pit road's pretty easy to get into. I mean, easier than most. Easier than it was last week at Maverick. We were racing at the Milwaukee Mile, and that thing is insane to get onto that pit road. At least this one, you can actually,
yeah, I bet.
you know, Milwaukee Mile, you kind of come around a corner and you're staring at the wall, and then there's a gap, and then you got to duck in there and not hit the other wall. So least here at California, we got super wide track. Thing's probably about 8 lanes wide.
Yeah, this is the original sim track of California.
Yep.
Which earlier during the practice, before we opened the broadcast, I went out and actually turned a couple laps. And I got to tell you, the first couple laps when you're out there, especially not practicing the starts and restarts, it's really slick. It really is. But once it comes in, you get those tires in after 3-4 laps, and I mean that thing really cooks, man. It's going to be fast.
You know, talk about the pit lane here. So yeah, I mean, you got a nice. You're coming off turn 3 and turn 4 here. You can see once you can get the car settled down here on the flat, you can really slam those brakes on and get that thing slowed down.
Yeah.
And I believe, is it where the wall is? Yeah, because I don't see a line here. Oh yeah, there's the line.
Yeah,
the line
you
is
can
right
move
at the
cameras.
wall.
Okay, now I can see your cameras moving around on my because I got the broadcast with the sound off.
Yeah, this is about a 20-second delay too, so when you're going to see it. But yeah, right when the wall starts is the commitment line. I believe it's might be a 45 mile an hour pit lane.
I'm going to say 45 here at California.
Yeah.
But you've got a pretty short landing strip there. I mean, if you don't time that just right, you're either in the front stretch grass or against the inside wall. It's tough. I mean, I know I spun it out a couple times just trying to get to pit road. Not really even trying. You know what I mean?
No.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not in a race condition, but when you're in a race condition and you got to do it as quickly as you can, it's tough. It's like landing on an aircraft carrier is what I, would have to try to compare it to.
It's a little similar to Michigan, but Michigan gives you more of a run in. You can actually get behind the wall before you get to the line. That's why I was looking for the line here at California, because in Michigan, you can get down the flat and it's actually a longer runoff. So if the car does get a little squirrely, you have time to settle it down.
Yeah, I believe the first pit stall is right where that inside retaining wall starts, right? Because I'm not seeing a cone or anything there.
No.
So I think that line is the commitment line.
Yeah,
for where you need to be at your speed.
We're lucky with only about 16 or 17 drivers tonight. They're not going to have to worry about slowing down too much because they'll be able to run halfway up before the pit stalls begin. That would only really happen if there was 40 people on there on the track tonight. But there is room for 43.
Yeah, another thing about getting on pit road is, I'm pretty sure that all the game tracks have it where you can hot pit. If you can stay on the brakes after the line, and some of these guys are masters at that, you know what I mean? You can come across the line at 80 miles an hour, keep your foot on that brake down to 55 or 45 or whatever it is, and you won't get caught speeding. And like I said, some of these guys are masters at that, and it wins races. It really does.
Under green flag, that is huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, California, very cool track. I think there's a winter. No, that's Michigan again. See, I get California and Michigan confused because they're very similar. There's a winter version of Michigan.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, Christmas version or something.
Yeah.
I think RTG has that one.
Yeah, somebody does winter races and they will convert the tracks to have some snow on them and stuff. But yeah, the original game track. So this is neat. Some of these original game tracks are challenging, but some of them are just a whole pile of fun, and California is definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, it's pretty wide. I mean, you can't, like I said, those first couple of laps, the car's really tight. But once it comes in, man, look out. It's a rocket. It really goes, especially. I didn't even get really into any drafting, but I imagine that's going to play a factor. Another thing that we haven't really even touched on would be fuel consumption.
Mm-hmm.
This thing goes green. I don't know what their pit window is as far as when they're going to need fuel, but I think at this track, if you take it easy, your tires will outlast your fuel, definitely.
Right. Yeah, we can talk. Just get my cameras lined up here.
Yeah, those commitment lines, I believe, is where the dark starts there on the outside on pit road.
Yeah. This race
Just
tonight.
a neat track.
Is it 88 laps tonight?
Yeah, 88 laps. And then I was just going to say, I love the background and stuff on these locations we go to sometimes. It's really cool.
Yeah, the mountain range.
Okay, California's a fun track.
Going racing, guys.
Here they go racing.
Hey, Dan, quick question for you. He left. I was going to ask him what the pit window was. I don't have him on a whisper, I don't think. No, I got nobody on whisper. I can hit the button, but it doesn't do anything. All right. So make sure to join us next week, or actually on Tuesday. We're at Pocono at the Maverick Series. Green flag, or the broadcast goes live at 8:15. And of course, next Sunday we're here again at Spartans Speedway. That'll be exciting.
Right now, they're getting on the grid. I'm on the back stretch looking at the 44. I'm just going to keep focused on him for green flag, and then we'll see where we go from there. This is going to be wild. Ulysses Sandoval's go up there too. He's been aggressive. Watched him come along for the longest time. The surprise for me was Pat McCarskey coming up in that 5th spot. I don't know how. Normally I'm used to racing with him on the super speedways, and I got to tell you, this guy is not afraid to make moves. He's not afraid to take a risk or two. But I don't know how he races on tracks like this. It'd be interesting to watch him.
Yeah. That's a great thing about the playoffs here, too. Every track completely different. Getting ready to go green here.
Oh, gosh, I had my thing stopped. Glad you said that. Now I'm live. Their pace car's off.
Yep. Pace of vehicle. As we get ready to go green here, Brian Lovell in that blue 44 leads the pack to the start. And it's official. Lap number
Green flag
1.
is in the air.
Green, green, green. Let's go
man,
racing.
Denny Carroll pushing already. Wow.
Ulysses was right there.
It easy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, looks like he's coming down in front of... Oh, man, he spun out in front of the field. Randy Waugh just missed him. If they restart this or not,
They
look
might.
like this Sandoval just got loose and come down in front of the 21. Looks like Pat McCarskey's on his lid back here.
Oh, no. We were just talking about Pat being this... Oh, somebody righted him. Let's back it up then. We'll check it out here.
Ended up and on his roof.
Yeah.
He just got kind of an unlucky touch there.
That's the thing here,
Actually,
too. Though,
Dan Lovell
run...
come off the wall into him during that wreck. And that's another thing. What is their damage level set to here?
Nothing.
Oh, no damage.
No damage. Nope.
Oh, okay. So if he gets...
we're good.
Okay. So nobody's going to go out with a wrecked car, so they may not restart this.
No. That's the thing. And like we say every time, every league, no 2 leagues on. Oh, just a little bump behind him, 38. It flipped him over like a turtle. But the Ken Roberts there to assist Pat back onto his wheels. And away we go. But yeah, no 2 leagues operate exactly the same if they don't have different points structures or different season structures. Some of them do playoffs, some of them don't. Some of them do 5 races for the playoffs, some of them do 3. Some of them do knockout. These guys don't do knockout. They do the top 10. They have bonus points. Some of them run realistic damage, moderate damage, no damage. Some of them have higher limits. Some of them run the same track every week. These guys don't. So yeah, it's pretty neat. So we got no damage here. Some of these guys will definitely have to pit. You can see Bakarsky and Roberts both coming down pit lane to get tires and top up on the fuel. Looks like everybody might actually be coming
looks
in.
like, Brian Lovell was still leading them down. A couple stayed out. Randy Wall stayed out. I don't know how they score their bonus points, if they allow points for leading a lap. But that might have been a part of his strategy, knowing something that we don't.
Yes, it would, because they do use the stock export, and then they, what am I saying? The podium guys get the bonus points, so you do get the extra points for leading the lap.
Okay, 10-4, and then you probably get the 5 bonus for leading the most.
Yes, and then after that stock export is complete, if you get third, second, or first, they will get bonus points, according to how you finish on the podium. So winner getting 15, second place getting 5, and then was it
I
two
think
for
Ulysses
2 for third place.
Ulysses Sandoval will probably claim that caution, which will bring him down pit road this time. It should.
Ulysses number 96. Oh,
Yeah,
096.
Randy's going to stay out. He's going to stay out on them tires, and so is Denny Carroll, the 41.
Yeah, you were
And
right about Ulysses.
Brian Lovell, who did pit, is now coming up behind him in third. So that could have been a very smart play this early on in the race.
Track position. It's a long race, and it's very early. So they're like, you know what? We'll just stay up front, which sets them apart on the next pit cycle. If we are able to go green next time, they have to go a little bit earlier. That might be a bonus too, because then you're staying out of the potential chaos.
Plus, I mean, like I said before, I went out here and turned a couple laps in practice, and those first couple laps are slick. I mean, you really have to take it easy and be careful. I mean, that's just me. That's just coming from me, having experience at this track, especially these game tracks. They're not gripped up like some of them have been made, and it's going to be slick. You got to be careful. But I think if they can get through the first 3-4 laps without mishap, and once those tires come in, man, we're going to see some of these guys on fire.
I'm going to plop this camera right down the back corner of that car.
I don't know if I can't see if there's any YouTube chatter going on.
Okay, I'll get on that right now. Good call.
I didn't know.
Camera lined up here.
There was supposed to be a friend of mine watching from work today. I just want to give him a shout out. Hey, John, if you're watching, man, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in.
John Marsteller?
Could be. Not sure.
Brian, my guy. He used 4 N's. So, yes.
That very well could be him. Yeah. So, hey, howdy, John. Thanks for tuning in, man. We're having some fun up here.
Yep, there he is, yo, Brian. John is in the YouTube chat, and we are currently attached to Ulysses Sandoval's car, Papacito, on board.
The foreign kid, as I affectionately call him.
Oh, he's
I hope
fantastic.
He's not offended by that. Love Sandoval. He's watched him come up over the last 3-4 years now.
Out of nowhere, too.
And,
This sim's been out since 2003. This kid just started playing this thing within the last few years, and he's up there winning.
Yeah, on a keyboard, no less.
He was, yeah. It's Brian Rawson. I think it was it Rawson? I can't remember if it was Rawson who sent him a wheel.
Yeah, it could have been, yeah.
It might not have been Rawson. It might have been, I can't remember who it was. Somebody did send him a wheel, though, because he was a keyboard driver. And then somebody had an extra wheel sitting in the closet, and they packed her up and sent it to him. And Ulysses did a video of him unboxing the wheel and then taking the keyboard and throwing it across the room into the garbage can.
I remember seeing the picture
Yeah.
of his keyboard in the
garbage.
trash can.
Yeah. We're getting rid of this.
But
I'm like,
we also,
you might want to hook that back up. You still need a keyboard, but yeah, we got it. It was pretty funny.
I love Ulysses. You gotta love that kid. He's the greatest. And we got to give a shout out to Mama Sandoval if she's watching.
Yep. And also give a shout out to Corey, because Randy was leading this pack back to green here at the start of lap number 6 when we crossed the line. Corey always watching Dad race the 21 Alabama Roll Tide number 21 Camaro.
And here we go back green.
And that lap will actually get led by probably Denny. Oh, maybe not. It's still scoring Randy in first. Black flag for Bynum.
Looks like they got off to a
cleared.
good start that time.
Yeah,
I'm
like
watching the broadcast and my thing live here, and I'm a little bit behind on the broadcast.
Yeah, broadcast about 18 to 20 seconds behind, just because that's the delay on YouTube. Twitch is instantaneous almost. Discord is actually instantaneous. That streaming through Discord, I don't even understand it, how that works.
Wow, look at Denny Carroll on the outside.
Whoa, my goodness. We can't even see all this.
Oh, man, there's cars rolling.
Yeah, there was
Ulysses being one of them.
There was a 5-wide situation back there, it looked like. We're going to rewind that and take a look at it. I was just going to say, this track, being a game track, which when we say game track, there is other versions of California that have been created for the Sims since 2003. When I say when we refer to game track, this launched with it. This is an unmodified. They haven't changed the settings or anything. So you really got to let the car come together before you start trying to race it. I find it's about 5 laps. Once you get about 4 or 5 laps under you, the thing's on rails and you could just go for it. But it's when they're cold like this, and it sounds weird, but it's a thing. When the car is cold, they're not going to operate very well.
Now, on our communication program that we use, TeamSpeak, you and I are up here by ourselves. I bet I would be willing to bet money that that's part of the discussion going on right now down in the race room between these drivers saying, come on, guys, take it easy. Let these tires warm up. Let's get some laps under us.
Oh, a couple cars got real loose. Ken Roberts got real loose right there. Oh, he actually might have got help from the 38, actually. Or the 388.
Yeah, it looked to me like the 41 came down. I believe it was either Greg or the 41 come down, and it just kept turning left.
Yeah, same instance. It looked
more
like
than he
Wah
wanted to.
Actually flattened out on the apron. So that upset the 21. It didn't look like he hit the 41. But actually, you know what? We can check that because we got
John
these
Godfrey
crazy
drove
cameras.
through that thing like a champ.
We got to check that. I'll check that out too, because John is really good at avoiding wrecks. I actually want to see how close this is, because it looked like the 41 got help from the 21, but
he just came across his air coming off the back. I don't think they really touched, but the 41 just kept turning left, and that was with the 21 coming up off the touching the apron also.
Yeah, he didn't touch him. Randy Wah did not touch the 41. But as you can see, whoa, that's going to make people dizzy.
That was close. That was real close.
Yeah, it was really, really close. I'm going to have to stop this because I can't find the car.
I'm just wondering now and seeing how they're forming up here if they're not going to go single file on the restarts.
They might do that. Yeah, they did that last week. That was so close. I wonder, it might have just been an arrow loose kind of thing where he took the air off the back spoiler. It upset the rear of the car and spun Carroll around.
And again, I probably sound like a broken record, but these are cold tires, man. You got to give it 3 or 4 laps before you, like you just said, before you race it. You got to let those tires come in.
Let's get in the cockpit here of Bynum. Keith Bynum on board in the instant replay to see his view of this, because he actually went upside down. It's always fun to watch in the cockpit.
Oh, man.
And this is what these guys see when they're racing these things. Most of these guys race cockpit, I think.
Oh, here we go. Now I'm on the delay watching it on the.
Some guys will race on the roof, which looks like this. That's where I race, right there. You'd see more that way. You were saying Godfrey was pretty good at getting through that, eh?
It looked like he was at the beginning there.
Let's back it up.
I think he just let it idle through there.
Oh, he did. Yep.
But he's back in the pits and back out and all fixed up. So it looks like we're getting ready to go green. No, we're still under yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have my screen on live, so. And that Pat McCarskey's still leading him down unless he goes in this time.
Again, joining me tonight,
I believe he'll
Brian
go in
Wolf.
this time.
Rod could not make it this evening.
Oh, I'm sorry, Blaine. Am I talking over you?
No, it's all good. I was just saying I have a trigger on screen here that says your hosts this evening, Blaine Donlin, Rod Weston, and Brian Wolf. Rod unable to make it today, but Brian is here.
Oh, cool. My name in lights. How about that?
Right there. Yeah, a little shimmy from the left and a little shimmy back to the right. And looks like we are doing a single file. Keep these guys away from each other. Lights on the pace car will probably go out right about now. Yep, one to go.
Okay.
And another mile and a half, he will get out of the way.
So yeah, I got to tell you, Blaine, this really is a treat for me to be able to do this with you, man. I can't say enough about Tarnation TV and how far it's come, and to be able to sit in this seat and call it from up here with you, man. It really is a treat. I love it. I would do it 24/7 if I could. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the backup. And if you guys want to subscribe to the channel, that's cool. We're up to it's 305. It's weird to see because that's not really that many people. But I do know that when I look at the hits on the videos, I get a couple hundred hits on each live broadcast. So at least with the 300 people that do subscribe to the channel, I know everybody's watching.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be worse to have a channel that's got, like 6,000 subscribers and then only 23 hits on each video, where we have the subscribers that come back. So that's kind of fun. We got a dedicated, tight nucleus of people that love this community and have for the past 22, 23 years.
Right. Yeah.
And, they watch, we can
really
broadcast us like a race, it's cool.
Yeah, and since really even before that, I mean, the broadcasting thing, I didn't really notice that until, 2004, 2005, something like that, when broadcasting really took off with this, and guys were figuring stuff out, and
they were doing it without the software I'm using now. I don't even know how they did it. And I look back at that, I'm going, they used to do it, and I have no idea how they used to do it.
A lot of guys did it like on Facebook Live and stuff.
Well, because YouTube didn't exist back then, and neither did Facebook.
Right.
And so they were hosting it on their own websites, like FSB, a league that's been around for 25, 30 years. They were broadcasting races live on their own website. How? I have no idea. Absolutely no clue. Pat
So
McCarskey
we just totally
using the whole
talked through
track. Yeah.
Wow. I was just going to say we totally talked through that restart right there, but it looks like they're going to get spread out a little bit and maybe run some hot laps finally.
McCarskey used the entire track there. He kept it off the wall. Rawson's all over him now. And again,
they're both in the wall and in the air.
Rawson, we're going to need an ambulance.
Wow.
Oh, Pat
McCarskey, I think, came out of the windows and in the crowd somewhere.
Okay, let's back that up. We'll just keep it live here. We'll just go rewind mode. Oh,
this is wild.
Somebody calling amber lamps for Brian Rawson.
Like I said, I'd be willing to bet money that the discussion in here right now amongst these guys is, come on, guys, let's get it together. We're better than this.
It's like, hey, guys, this is being broadcast live on Tarnation, right? Everybody forgot how to drive. Okay, wait, let's do a cockpit. You got to do a cockpit view of a guy who goes airborne into the fence. Live on board with 6.
I was going to say, that's got to put it on the 97 if you're going to do that. That was nuts. He flipped it over quite a few times.
Yeah.
Got some good airtime there.
Yeah, let's check out the
Literally.
96. You see in the review mirror of the 96 or the 97 of Pat McCarskey, the 6 gets right up in the review mirror here, and the same thing. These cars aren't warmed up yet. These tires are still cold, so he's taking all that air off the back spoiler right here.
Oh man, that flip gave me a headache.
And that loosens Pat up right there.
I might be starting to understand why the no damage mod.
Yeah, the option for no damage. Ooh, there he goes. He hooked a wheel and starts rolling. I love how the flaps come up on the hood and do nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
That's just a graphic.
For those of you who don't know what the flaps are for, they're supposed to...
It's supposed to keep it on the ground.
There's a brouhaha on pit lane here. Yeah, they're supposed to keep the, obviously increase the downforce. When the cars turn around backwards, there's flaps on the roof and flaps on the hood that'll hold the car down. Sometimes they don't do their job.
I tell you, Randy Wall's been playing it smart so far. He got lucky with cars spinning in front of him, but he's keeping it up where he needs to be for next week.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. He came the 21 here came into the playoffs in last. Like, he just made it to the playoffs. He was the top 10 guys from the regular season, made it into the playoff race for the chase races, these 3 playoff races. So he made it in 10th, won last week's race, currently running first position right now. He's led a couple laps tonight, so he's got the bonus points again for leading a lap. And you know what I mean? It's with no green flag runs here. I find last week was the same sort of thing. The first quarter of the race, it's everybody sort of getting settled. And once they get settled, we're in for a good finish. So if you need to go get a drink, do it now, because by the end of this thing, it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing, too, I got to say this about Randy Wall. You know, he is so passionate about this racing, especially broadcast racing, man.
Yeah.
He loves it. And lately, he has really been on a roll. Like you said, he won last week. I've raced with him probably over the last, 5, going on probably 6 years with Randy. And he's very passionate about this, man. He really gives it his all every time. He's fun to watch. He's one of the guys that I really like to watch during these broadcasts because I know he loves it so much. You know what I mean? And it's
he does a lot of racing, man. Every night of the week, some of these guys.
And a lot of the time, some of the situations that he puts himself into can be pretty emotional, man. He, both ends of that spectrum, man. I've seen him riding high, and then I've seen him mad as a hornet, just like some of these other guys. But he is, nobody matches this guy's passion for this hobby. I'm telling you.
We got David
He
Chin
is
in
fun
the
to
YouTube
watch,
chat.
and look where he's at in the front,
Yeah. We got David Chin in the YouTube chat. He's an admin in the league, right? What's he running?
Yeah.
ASR?
Yeah, he's head admin over at ASR.
Nice. Welcome
Hey,
to the
Dave,
show,
shout
Dave.
out to Dave Chin and all the guys at ASR, man. I'm glad you tuned in to kind of support me at this stuff because, it's kind of my,
well, you helped me
what you'd call it.
create this thing. Like, it looks good now, but it didn't. The Tarnation TV broadcast did not look good when it started originally. So you were a big help in troubleshooting a lot of this stuff offline. We were testing stuff, like hours and hours of testing offline. Like, hey, can we do this? I'm like, yeah, we can probably do that. And we researching stuff. It was pretty neat. Ken Roberts there in a generic orange car.
Yeah, I don't have his car either.
Yeah.
He was kind of a last minute, I think.
Yes, he was. Behind him, the 41 of Denny Carroll. Sorry, you're going to say something about Ken?
Yeah, Ken Roberts actually, I got to give a shout out to him too because he's actually stepped up. He really enjoys the super speedway racing. I race with him every weekend on Fridays and Saturdays, and him and I just love. We have our Saturday morning and Sunday morning conversations over coffee, and we just enjoy talking about how everybody else does it wrong, and he has actually stepped up, and he's going to do some admin duties for that new series we got coming on Sundays.
Nice. That's gonna be cool. Are you guys broadcasting that?
Some of it. We're gonna do some testing first and see what kind of traction it gains.
Mm-hmm.
And because we want it to be successful. Failure is not an option. And there's been a lot of guys at ASR especially have been kind of waiting for a super speedway series. So Dave Chin, who you said is in the chat, kind of put it in my hands and kind of put me in charge of it. But it's not just me. I have to have, in order for it to be successcar, I have to have the best people around me. And Dave and Ken Roberts, Rodney Sullins. Pace car's about to duck on off here. I don't want to take away from that. But 21, Randy Wall, look at that, leading them down again.
Yep. Followed by Ken Roberts, Denny Carroll right behind him. And then you've got Greg Lovell in the 8. Followed by the pace car. What? Followed by Brian Lovell in the 44, John Godfrey in the 711, the 388 of Dan Lovell, the 6 of Rawson, the 96 of Ulysses Sandoval, the 096 of Ulysses Sandoval.
They're going to Randy Wall like to see that.
Graham McDonald in the 24. We're going to say hi to Chase, even though he's not watching. And Pat McCarskey in the 97 at the back there. And the pace car driver, whom
they may
rather
have
boring to watch. So we'll go back to Randy.
They may have given Pat a little bit of an ultimatum there. I'm not sure, but it looks like he's just trying to take it easy now and get some laps under him in the back there.
I've raced with Pat a lot, and he races a lot too. And I find what happens with Pat is if he's spun out or something, and we just like we saw on that last replay, he definitely he got up in the air and he'll just sort of move out of the way and go to the back to sort of collect it. I find that'll happen with Pat. Like he'll run up front for a while, but then if something happens like that, he sort of just wants to get out of the way. He's kind of like me, right? Like I just don't want to be in the way. Like you're up the front and you're not.
Randy Watt goes around in the front. Oh, everybody missed him. Look like
yes, they did.
Brought out the yellow, but he didn't get hit or mess anybody up, so that was lucky.
Yeah, but Pat does the same thing.
Just got it
like
loose.
if I get into trouble, I kind of just want to stay out of the way, so I just sort of slide to the back. Maybe take a couple more laps around the track with no one behind you, no pressure, sort of thing, and get your bearings. So I'm a similar driver. I don't need to be up the front. I don't need to win.
Yeah. Pat. I don't know, the last couple, he just barely missed that one too. So earlier he might have got spooked a little bit. I don't know. That's what happens to me a lot of times. I get all brave and run in the front, and then something happens, and now I'm spooked for the rest of the race and can't get back there.
Just checking out Keith Bynum's car here. He's running a paint scheme for the league, the Primetime Racing League Chevrolet Camaro. Number 63, Keith Bynum, your driver.
Yeah, this is, just to reiterate, this is the Primetime Racing League Sunday Spartans. These guys also run on Fridays and Saturday nights. A lot of these guys you're watching right here tonight. In fact, every single one of them. They all run on Friday nights trucks, and then Saturday night is their super speedway. It's kind of a split series. They do half Daytona and half Primetime Raceway, which is actually Talladega. But it's a lot of fun, man. If I encourage any drivers out there or viewers that want to get into this to come out and join those guys on Fridays and Saturdays, because it really is a lot of fun. It's a lot of that has to do with the format, actually. Super Speedway racing compared to this is just a whole nother animal. It's a whole nother strategy. It's a whole nother give and take type of thing. And it can be pretty cutthroat sometimes.
Especially Talladega.
Yeah, it can be pretty cutthroat sometimes. And it's hit miss,
It's a whole different strategy at a super speedway with plates. When we're running restrictor plates at those tracks, it's here if you can get going green and you start hitting your marks, you'll drive away from guys.
Right.
You can't be by yourself on a super speedway. You need friends all day long. Otherwise, you're going and nowhere.
That's just like, and that can go the other way too. If you have a tremendous pit stop, a lucky pit stop where you come in at 100 miles an hour, you get it slowed down to 55, take 2 tires and full fuel, and you get out in front of the whole field, you're not going to be there long because that train's coming.
Yeah. And again, the drafting, a stack of cars at Talladega Super Speedway that are drafting with each other, legit 20 mile an hour faster than you are.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
By yourself, you'll run about 180, 181, but in a pack, you'll be 200 to 202. Sometimes almost 203. We've had some average lap speeds like 202.9, like, just madness.
Yeah, and because of that drafting and that format, you really have to be patient. I know that's, and the speed really is relevant because even though you're doing 200 miles an hour, the guy next to you is also doing 200 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. So speed is kind of relevant. So 5 cars will eventually drive faster than 4. 6 cars will eventually drive faster than 5. But when you've got 30 to 39 cars out there,
oh man,
it's just a hornet's nest of insanity.
And we've seen it though, like with back in the old days there, Jeffrey Elliott running the Talladega Nights League. He would have 40 guys out there every week, and you'd get green flag, you'd get caution-free races with full field 40 cars. And, then you've got races within the race of like, okay, these guys are at the front, and there's 6 of them. But then you've got a 5-second gap to the 7th place position, and there's 10 of those guys. And if they can get together and they can stay together, they're going to run them down. Or maybe they're racing each other. A couple guys in that pack aren't cooperating. You're not going to catch them. So it's neat to watch that dynamic sometimes of how that super speedway restrictor plate racing works.
It is. And like I said, it's a whole nother animal than from like this. Once these guys, if they can get past these, here we are 20 laps in, and I don't know how many green laps we've got in, but once they get, if they could get spread out, and then we'll really see who's got the finesse, who's got the car, who's got, this and that. With no damage, you got to have some talent behind this track. You really do. Some talent, especially with that throttle pedal. If you don't throttle it correctly and you get distracted or something like that, you're done. You know what I mean? It's, you're going to get either run over or you're going to run over somebody. But it's going to be interesting to see once they do go green for a little bit, who pulls away, who's struggling, who's saving the fuel, blah, blah, blah.
I'm playing with the cameras here. We're just taking a look-see and a little bit of free camo. I'd like to thank Tyler Mallon for this awesome utility. This was never possible 20 years ago in this game. But Tyler Mallon, the absolute gosh darn legend that he is, figured out a way to give us total camera control. So this dude right here, he's got this yellow flag. He's going to flip it around. Let's see if we can see these guys coming through the corner here. There they are.
It's interesting to me that, how far this game's come to in 23 years, or 25 years, whatever it's been. That's a neat shot. What you can do with these cameras and that, because Fluid Studios, I use those to, I utilize those cameras and stuff in my highlight videos. So, but for you to do it live and be able to control it, that's fun. And here we go. We're green again.
The trick for any other...
Ken Roberts is leading them down this time.
Yep. The trick for any other broadcasters wondering how in the heck do you use free cam live? Well, you can't.
Oh, you've got it on some type of delay.
All I have to do is pause the game for a half second like this, and now it's in replay mode.
Oh, 10-4.
But this is live. Right? So as long as you pause it for a half second, you hit pause.
Uh-oh, we got another one.
Oh, no, we don't. They're fine. That'll buff out. And that'll buff out too. So will that. Yeah, it's fine. He's fine. Keith does that every lap on purpose. That's part of his strategy. If you go in reverse a couple times, I don't know. But yeah, it's that trick of like we learned, and again, I think you were helping me with this broadcast of like, how can we do this for the Canon race and make it look like we're riding in the cockpit, but we're riding in the passenger seat. Well, you just pause and play real quick, pop, pop, and then you can latch to the car, and then you can go inside the car, and you can pretend you're sitting in the passenger seat. And you can sit in here and you can look at the driver and be like, oh, hey, driver, and you can kind of look at the trees as they go by. And we were kind of trying to figure out how to do that because free cam only works in replay mode. And then I probably woke up in the middle of the night one day and was like, if it needs to be in replay mode, well, I just paused the broadcast for a quarter second. And it worked.
That's outstanding. Yeah, that was really neat experimenting with that stuff.
Yep.
And, you mentioned Cannon's race. We've done 5 of those now. And I was just watching some of the last one just the other day. I was watching the replay of it on YouTube, and it brought me to tears, man. When I look back at 6-7 years ago.
Was it that long?
Before, Well, no, I'm just talking about myself now.
Oh, yeah,
I've
because
only
you were
known
going to
Canon for
retire.
about 6 years, 5
Yeah.
years. Yeah, I was getting ready to hang it up, and then I don't know. Everything just seemed to turn around. I mean, because 6 short years ago, I mean, I really had nothing with this. I had really shabby equipment. I had, failing computers and blah 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 blah, and now look, here I am 6 years later. I've got my own brand, Fluid Studios. I've got my own track, and now it looks like coming up here real shortly to top off my racing legacy, I might have my own series.
That's
so we've really come a long way.
Yeah, congratulations on the series too. And then Dave, Mr. Chin, is just say like, yeah, man, do it, because he knows you can. You've set up the special events. Like, okay, if you can set up a special event like a Canon tribute race, and gather those drivers and work with me on the broadcast end of it to kind of make it custom and new ideas and all this kind of stuff. And then you've got track guys like Godfrey in the mix, and Godfrey's out here right now since we're talking about Godfrey.
Exactly.
Where see John Godfrey in the 7-Eleven, able to retexture tracks. Another guy in the community who's just phenomenal at what he does. He's able to there's Tarnation TV logos in the grass on some tracks, and it's this guy's fault. He took my logo and he put it on the thing, and I'm like, that's so cool, and that's all thanks to John. So if you need some retexturing, like change the textures on the buildings and customize these tracks, and maybe, hey, hey John, can I have a track that has bluegrass? Yeah, sure. He'll extract the green texture, tint it blue, put it back in, and then you got bluegrass, red grass, yellow grass. Take the grass out completely, make it white so it looks like snow. Maybe maybe there hasn't been any rain in California in 10 years. You just turn it all brown so it looks like a dirt trap. It'd be you can do anything you want, and everybody in here has a skill. And then, not to mention, there's thousands of drivers that literally drive this game every single week, and it's 2025.
Yeah, and in talking about that stuff I was before, it's not just me. I mean, without the people around me, like Nelson Rodriguez over at our head admin, one of our head admins over at ASR. He's for that series. He's the one doing all the website stuff, the points calculation, and handling that end of things. I've got Ken Roberts, Greg Palmer, going to help me admin the races themselves. I've got Dave Chin. Allowing me to use the TeamSpeak and our server, you know what I mean? And that stuff is not cheap.
No.
You know what I mean? So without all those great people around me, this doesn't happen for me. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm just so grateful to be still a part of this community and keeping up with this stuff.
That's a thing I forgot about too with the servers, because when it was released in late 2002. And it was abandoned within a couple of years after that because Papyrus lost the NASCAR license and they went with EA Sports. The game was abandoned.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the Sierra servers, did you have a Sierra account? Because I did.
I did, yes. Yeah, so I remember racing on Sierra, yeah.
Yep, you'd log into the game and you'd go into the multiplayer menu and you could log into your Sierra account and find a server and race public, which is kind of a nut house sometimes because, different skill levels, blah, blah, blah. It was always best to join a league.
Yeah, you got guys that stumble onto it and just reap havoc.
But the great thing with a lot of these old games was in the multiplayer mode, you could choose to log in using the community, or you could choose to use the direct IP connect.
Right.
So that allowed the thing to basically never die. As long as you had a server somewhere and people could connect to it, you could host games. And you can't do that nowadays with Call of Duty Warzone. You can't. If they shut their servers down, you're done.
Right, yeah.
People
Same
have
with
had
Grand Theft Auto and games like that, yeah.
Yeah, but then again, with communities on the PC side of things, people have reverse engineered those games so they can host their own server farms. So it might not be available, but you give the communities time. There's enough of these keyboard jockeys that are nerdy enough. They'll kind of crack the game open and make sure that we can play it. we're shutting the servers down. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter though. Somebody will bring it back.
Meanwhile, here we come to green again. I think this time Graham McDonald going to leave him down.
Yes, he is. The 24 of Graham McDonald runs his own league here at Primetime Racing League.
And they are starting off single file. They're already spreading out. And like I said, I'd bet money that the conversation is let's take it easy and get some green in.
Yep. Let these things warm up before we start racing. Yeah, Graham McDonald, Keith Bynum.
Looks like Randy's ready to go still.
Yeah, like
he's just looking inside of Graham already.
Yep. And of course, Dan Lovell, like they all run their own series here.
And again, look how that failed for Randy. Let's get some heat in these tires, guys, and then it'll go.
Gotta be patient.
Yeah, I mean, you have to in these opening laps like this.
It's weird on such a big track, but it is really icy. It almost feels like you're on ice for the first 3 or 4 laps when it really starts to come in. If we can go a couple more laps here, you'll see these guys just take it easy and it won't get loose. Keep your foot in it.
You know, if you get out of the throttle too much, even trying to be careful, it turns on you like you threw an anchor out. Yeah.
Yeah, because then if you take your foot off the throttle completely.
There goes Graham around. They're all going around.
Yeah.
Well, not all. Randy Wall. Oh man.
Greg straight into the wall.
Blaine, I apologize. I've got a slight issue here going on in my side of the booth.
No problem, buddy.
I'm going to have to step away for about 4 minutes.
No problem.
I'm going to hand the reins over to you for now.
Gotcha.
Let these guys get this sorted out.
Yep. Brian Wolf's issue was I ran out of coffee, so he's my gopher. He's going to have to go for coffee. We can go through the field a little bit here while we wait for Brian to return. A yellow flag, as you can see there, is up. Our NASCAR official in the tower there, waving that flag. He's a little bit strange in the way that he waves that thing around, but we love him nonetheless. His name is Leonidas. Leading the pack right now behind the pace car. Dan Lovell in the 388 heading to the pits with Ulysses Sandoval right behind him. Pat McCarskey, you can see up there in the white car, he's staying out. And so is Graham McDonald. Everybody is on the lead lap. This is just let's see here. Pat McCarskey does have 5 laps led. That it will be lap number 6. Graham McDonald also has 5 laps led. So on the pits right now, Brian Lovell in the 44, the 96 of Ulysses Sandoval, Randy Waugh in the 21, the 8 of Greg Lovell, the 44 of Denny Carroll, the 388 of Dan Lovell, Keith Bynum in the 63, Ken Roberts in the unmarked 55. Ken Roberts usually has car paint supplied by Rodney Sullins, the legendary Rodney Sullins. I guess he does not have one for this mod. If you're wondering what mod we are running, this is the this is the NASCAR Xfinity Series 2020 with the Craftsman Truck Series physics package. So the NXS20 _ CTS. A very cool looking mod. I like this one. It's pretty neat. Not a lot of people use this one, but it looks really cool. Little additions on the mod too. You can see like between the back wheels there, you got like the sway bar. You can see that on some mods, not on other ones. They're all a little bit different. The physics is what controls how the cars really operate. The reason these guys will run the CTS physics, which is the Craftsman truck physics, They're just a little bit heavier, a little bit slower. The draft is a little bit more amplified, I believe. Cup physics is cool. They're obviously the cars would be faster if they were running car physics like Cup physics. Cup Series being the main series in NASCAR, so super fast. But then you get into restrictor plate racing, and we can get around restrictor plates by using the Craftsman truck physics, because the trucks don't use the plates because they're not that fast. If you took the plates off the cars and you went out on Talladega in a draft, you'd be getting up around like 220, 230 mile an hour. The cars are almost impossible to hold on to in the corners at that speed. But when they use the truck physics, they're a lot slower. You can run wide open the whole time, and it's a lot more entertaining racing. 4 different physics packages, of course, in this game too, which is very, very cool. The Cup, like I was just talking about, the Cup Series has their own physics, which is what the game would have launched with in 2003. And then Project Wildfire came out with all the mods in that last patch before they had to abandon the game. It's almost like they knew it was coming, so they just kind of opened it up for modding. They had the PT, what is it? The PTA physics, Project Trans Am, I think is what it was. 7-speed transmissions. So that's why we have IndyCar mods for this game. 7-speed transmissions, crazy downforce. You go into corners way faster on road courses and stuff, of course, like you would be able to do in an IndyCar, an F1 car. So there's IndyCar mods, there's F1 mods. Then you've got the GNS physics package, which is the Grand National Series. So there's a lot of older mods based on like 1955, 1956, the 70s. I believe it was DMR that just released a vintage truck series. So it was VTS 55, Vintage Truck Series 1955. Super cool looking mod. Just came out within the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. Very cool. We have Brian Wolf back here. Let's turn him on. Yeah, I'm just talking about all the other mods that this thing, the GNS physics that run that. Have you seen that new Vintage Truck Series 55 mod?
I have seen it. I haven't raced it yet.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, those are neat.
What the damage model on those things is amazing, because the windshields actually crack like so bad you can't even see out of them, and every car model has a different smash pattern. Like, I don't even know how they pulled it off. The back windows will fall out of them. It's amazing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't actually. I know it's out there. I just haven't raced it yet. I haven't seen it.
The damage model's something else. It's probably one of my favorite damage models, because you're driving an old pickup, and then the back window will actually crack with the front windshield. And every model, every make, because there's 4 makes, has a different brake patterns and stuff. It's really neat the way the glass breaks. Definitely run damage if you're running that. Pat Maskarski takes the field to the line here, the beginning of lap 33 as we go green, and Brian came back with coffee.
Yeah, I did. I actually went down and got some coffee. It's a Coca-Cola brand with some ice in it.
What the heck?
Yeah, I was just watching. I was just looking here.
Oh, wow. Maybe
I came back just in time. I see that John Godfrey and Brian Rawson have both retired.
Yes.
And there goes Ken Roberts around in the back. That might not bring out the yellow. They're still going.
The Rawson
they're
and
still green.
Godfrey were actually arrested.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Take it away in chains.
Yeah, and then they came down in a helicopter and they hauled out the paddy wagon. It was crazy. You missed some weird stuff.
Was it an immigration issue? Or?
No, it wasn't. It was just, we don't like you right now. We're going to take you to jail. That's what it was. No, I think it may have just been, they've just had enough maybe of spinning around in circles. Maybe they just decided to leave. But Makarski up there just relinquished the first place position. He's still putting up a good fight, though.
Dan Lovell takes
Denny.
it way wide.
Yes, he
wow.
did.
Randy Wall way out of shape there.
This
That was
track
pretty
may be
wild.
40 yards wide, but Dan back there is still going to use the entire thing in that Spartans car. So we're looking at Bynum's car. He's got the league paint job right beside him there in the 63, and then the Spartans, of course, is this series within that league. So it's cool to see some of these custom paint jobs. All these paint jobs, of course, made by somebody, either the driver driving or as per request from a fellow painter in the community. I don't have any cars in this race.
41 and 44 look like the 97 up into the wall.
Yeah.
Barely missed him with no damage. He should be able to keep up.
Yep.
.44 and 41 of Denny Carroll and Brian Lovell going at it in the front. Keith Bynum right there in that PRL car. That is a pretty car. I like that race car.
That chrome oil is pretty nuts too on the 41.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
Level to the inside of Carroll.
Watch this thing break down into lanes like they do at Talladega. They're squirrely all over the place. That you could throw a blanket over the top 6.
Yeah. Getting some laps into these things, get these tires heated up.
Yeah, it looks good now. Now they're actually racing.
Yeah.
As long as they don't bump into each other. Jeez, oh man, they're
and
close.
That's the
wow.
thing, yeah. It's really concentrating in the middle of those corners. I see sometimes the cars get upset. See, like the 41 lost some speed and stacked them up behind him a little bit there. The 388 and the 986 had to check up for him a little bit, which could also upset their cars. You know, it's what Rod talks about every week too, is trail braking. If you get out of your throttle, it throws the suspension. Whoa, the 63.
Wow.
When you get out of the throttle completely, it really upsets the suspension because you need to keep that suspension loaded. So you need to keep throttle in it. So trail braking, you know, when you've got your foot on the gas, you just kind of drag in that brake. That helps keep the suspension loaded.
Oh, and Keith Bynum goes around.
Flaps her up.
Greg up into the wall.
Keeps him on the ground. Yeah, Greg, let's see, we got the 97 of Pat, the Dan Lovell in the 388.
That's got to be a weird aero package running in a basically in a group, not necessarily, you know, one in front of the other. I'm talking about a 5-6 car pack that's 3-4 wide.
Yeah,
and that's got to do something to the air around them. That's weird. That's wild. But I was going to mention Greg Lovell back there in that Corona car. During the introductions, I apologize for that because I got their cars backwards. I thought he was in that Crown Royal car, but he's in that Corona.
Corona, yeah.
Corona. Those are nice looking paint cars. But I wanted to mention him too because if you think about it, you know, he's leading the points, and Randy Wall's right there, ready to pounce. And here we are. We're coming up on halfway, and really haven't seen any, you know, real green flag racing yet.
And to point out also, now we've got 3 retired drivers, being Ken Roberts, John Godfrey, and Brian Rawson. That points, it's tighter now too.
Yes. Yep.
You know, like even
they're not there to
in
spoiler.
Last, you're only in 9th. You're still getting a good chunk. It's not like if you had 30 cars in the field, and if you were in 30th, you're only getting like 63 points. You're still going to walk out of here with like 150 points, even if you're last.
Right. So now that we're down to, you know, like you said, there's 3 drivers missing. Each one of those could have been a spoiler for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, but now that we're getting down to there's only 1 or 2 people that could spoil it for anybody left in the race. So we'll see what happens here. I know Greg looks like he's playing it smart. He's going to be there at the end. Denny Carroll, he just goes forward no matter what. Randy Waugh, same thing. Those guys just go for it. And watching these guys, especially again at the super speedway races, you know, I've watched these guys work together, and they do. I mean, they have an advantage in sheer numbers.
Yeah.
the Stone Gap team, all those guys from there. But I mean, even though they're all teammates, I mean, they do have different styles, especially when you watch them race at off a super speedway at a place like California, Bristol, wherever. You can still kind of see them working together. You know what I mean? And they do have an advantage in sheer numbers at the super speedways, but that just makes everybody else work that much harder.
Yeah, and on a track like this, they will definitely, if they can, they definitely will do it. So we have the camera on the flag stand. I just noticed some of these caution signs flashing around the track too, which is kind of neat.
But I think the way they score these, I mean, even if Greg Lovell just finishes, top 5 tonight with Randy Wall in there somewhere, I think he's probably padded pretty well. The 21 would have to go on to win to gain any, real significant chance at the championship next week, I think.
That's the thing. Anything can happen. And with Eric Lovell and Gary Mingus not being here, those two drivers have not started a race in the playoffs, which is strange for Mingus because I actually saw him in practice. He was in the team speak.
Yeah,
before the race started, he left and he never came back.
I haven't actually seen Eric Lovell in a while. I don't know if maybe he's on vacation or something.
I know Eric Lovell as well. He when we talked to him on the broadcast, he has a full house, so he might be busy doing father stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always got kids bouncing around, so they might be out for the weekend or whatever. Life always comes first. Focused on Graham McDonald there in the 24, the Dodge, fellow Canadian. Me being from Kingston, Ontario, and Graham hails from Sudbury, Ontario. I should show up on his porch one day.
What's that?
I should show up on his porch one day.
Yeah.
Like, ding dong, hey, Graham. And he's like, Blaine?
I suspect we might see a couple guys like Ken Roberts in the the YouTube chat there.
Hey, Blaine and Brian. Lowercase b's. What's up, Ken, man? Good to see you. I'm surprised. Here's a question for Ken. You don't have he had like Rodney Sellens. He's got that guy in his back pocket for every single paint job he's ever had.
Oh yeah.
Does not have an Xfinity 2020 car. What's up with that?
I don't think he normally races in this series
I just find
this mod.
Crazy that he's never been in a league where there's been the NXS 20 and he just happened to have one from 7 years ago or something. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That's a fun thing I did.
I know Rodney Solons has got some cars for this mod.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was kind of looking through them earlier.
Most templates are similar. If you keep your working files, you can modify them pretty easy to fit on everything.
I was focused on the 41 there. But I'll tell you what, that Crown Royal car, that is a sharp race car.
Yeah.
That looks like a race car. You know what I mean? That's really cool. The purple and gold.
Yeah, Rodney
I don't know if that would be a Rodney Solons
I could check
paint job or not.
Yes, it is. I can tell. Watch your broadcast.
He's got
20 seconds. You'll see
signature on there.
Rodney Sellens has his stamp of approval. You can tell if Rodney painted a car if it's got that thing on it.
Yeah, his cars are a couple seconds behind on the. There you go.
Yeah, they're always sharp.
Yeah, Rodney Solon paints. Yeah. But yeah, the detail that he puts into these things is like bar none. We've already taken the green again.
Yep. Roll bars and everything. He doesn't miss.
Brian Lovell leading them down this time. We're followed by Greg and Randy Waugh. Those three are or where they need to be.
Yep.
Ulysses Sandoval back there making moves.
With the 44 and the 8. Yeah, and that was, I'm curious to see now. Greg
Randy
shooting
Wall
up
around
the track.
Collected a few of them. I don't know what happened to Randy Wall. Was by himself, and he just turned it.
Yeah, it's strange. Again, it's the cold tires. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what that feels like. When that thing starts to go around, it's hard to collect it, and you do have to hammer on the brakes and steer back into it. Otherwise, you'll lose it. It'll snap around on you.
You know, it's a shame with the yellows, you know, that we haven't seen too much green flag racing. But at the same time, I got to give, you know, the admins and the guys who put this together a little bit of credit, because I mean, it is very difficult to have tracks like this with a setup that these guys probably haven't practiced too much. They haven't practiced together all that much. You know, I think this is a fairly new series, and it's difficult to find something very even keel to everybody's skill level. You know what I mean, as far as the setup and the tracks and the mods, the physics, everything that goes into it. It's very difficult to put together. There's never going to be a perfect race. I haven't found one yet.
Tarnation TV currently trying the new airplane mod.
That looks like Subway mode.
Yeah. As they fly away into the sky. Again, thanks to Tyler Mallon. I don't know how he came up with this camera thing. It's so cool. It's too fun sometimes. You can get dizzy doing stuff
it's like
this.
having a new toy. I know.
Oh, it's great. You know, and then coming
it's
up like
wonderful
you said
for the highlight videos.
Yeah, the content, the replay videos and stuff. It's so cool, and even just stuff like this. You know, getting angles on different cars and checking out, because people build these tracks and you don't see all this stuff. They've got complete infields being rendered back here with all the campers, and the haulers will be here somewhere. Like, where's the haulers? Oh, this is a stock. Oh no, there is haulers. This is a game track, but there is some haulers back here. You know,
some of the graphics in the game tracks are really authentic. You know what I mean? It's, you know, the buildings and the way it's set up, and even how the tracks drive. You know what I mean? They're set up point to point, and it's, you know, it's as close as you can get. It's as close as I'll ever get to being, you know, in one of these things.
Yep. Very, very cool. You could walk away from this game, this simulator, for 5-6 years, and it'll still be there when you come back.
And it's all brand new again. Yeah.
Yeah.
It still amazes me to this day, 6 years later, however long I've been doing this, because I've been doing this since even before this sim came out.
Yeah.
The early Papyrus games I played online. In fact, I remember my very first league. I know nobody from that league is going to hear this, but it was CCCRL, which was Cyber Coast to Coast Racing League.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And my first year of online racing, I won the, back then they called it the Busch Series, the lower series from NASCAR. But I won my first championship in the Busch cars in that league.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's neat. Like,
and,
I remember,
never looked back. You know what I mean? For 25 years, I've been doing this.
Yeah, and like leagues like FSB and Rolling Thunder, they've been around so long and always evolved with it. And I think, actually, you know what? FSB, I was wondering what happened to their broadcast, because Sean Reap used to broadcast NASCAR 2003 all the time. And I haven't seen it pop up on my feed in a while, so I went looking, and they're only doing that iRacing now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they made the hop, and they always had an iRacing portion, and they probably still do NASCAR 2003 racing, but they don't broadcast it anymore, which is a shame because he was. I still don't know how he did his ticker and stuff. It's still. It's the only ticker I've ever seen like that.
Oh yeah, some of the guys that send us, this broadcasting thing. It's such a neat element to our hobby, and the guys that add to all that, the guys that come up with the tickers and the this and the that for the broadcasting. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, that's what I was watching because I got into the game for a little while, a few years, and then on YouTube one time, a broadcast from one of the leagues popped up in my YouTube feed, and I'm like, is that in our 2003? This game's still going?
Right, yeah.
I always loved the game, right? But I don't know, I got playing other stuff. Life took over, and you do some things for a little while, and then I'm like, wow, it works on new computers. There's texture upgrades to make it look better. The community's even stronger now than it was when it first started, because now we're forced to make it work, which shows the passion to continue doing this stuff. Like, it might not work on Windows 11. Don't worry. Give the guys a couple of weeks. They'll figure it out.
To this day, I still hear people talking about and even making like documentary type videos on this sim, saying it's the best sim. It's the closest to realism that you're going to get as far as, the physics of it and how the cars actually drive different from each other, the different mods, you know what I mean? It's phenomenal. And here we come to green again with Pat Makarsky really moving out front. Wow, did he get a jump on that start?
He did, yeah.
And these guys just need to lay back, and because he'll come back to them. If they get desperate trying to catch him and start racing each other.
Yeah, you'll make a mistake. Ulysses Sandoval has made 23 pit stops.
How close they run together.
Cold.
Being that, they've, yeah.
Ulysses Sandoval has made 23 pit stops. That is insane. We've had, unfortunately, we've had 49 laps run, and 32 of those laps have been under caution with the 8 yellows.
I saw another one back there against the wall. It just amazes me how close these guys are running together. Especially teammates like this up front, knowing what's going to happen here.
Yeah, you got to let these things get
Maybe
hooked
they'll
up.
Spread out here now.
We can do this in 5 or 6 laps, but this is still early as far as I'm concerned. The cars that have retired with Rawson, Godfrey, and Roberts are not in the playoffs. That the playoff cars will definitely stay out there. Makarsky, Lovell, Carroll, Lovell, Wah, Sandoval.
I hear some skidding. Yellow's back out. I didn't see what happened. Oh, Randy. Looked like the 41 just kind of kept turning left down onto the apron and just lost it.
Let's load up our replay. Okay, we're finding it here. Yeah, the 41 is definitely involved in this. It almost looked like he just, again, he got loose on the back. Tagged the 24. Avoidance in the 21. He got loose. Went around. Keith Bynum in the 63, slowing up to get through that.
Dan Lovell drove through that whole thing smooth as silk.
Who did?
Dan Lovell. He just kind of eased through it, watched it happen.
All right, let's check that out. Watch this again in a instant replay. Instant replay brought to you in part by Pepsi.
Pepsi?
Sure. Go to Pepsi.com and use Speedway Spartans for 50% off at checkout or something.
What did we lose? KFC as a sponsor with Eric Cartman as the spokesperson.
Yeah. That's Tarnation. Regular Tarnation TV cannot handle that sponsorship. We need to put that on Tarnation TV Turbo, our secondary channel, which is not rated at all. This is the family channel. The one with no filter is the other one.
My bad. Was that a copyright infringement?
It's not even like I haven't really used the Tarnation TV Turbo channel that much. I usually just use it to broadcast when I'm racing from the cockpit. I've never actually done an official broadcast like this over there. But the reason I have
think
the
you
secondary...
did like one or two last year with Brad, didn't you?
It's possible.
Or you guys used to play some shoot 'em up game on there or something?
Oh, yeah, we might have tried that. Yeah, we might have been experimenting with some stuff over there, some of the wrestling games and stuff. But it was, not like we're going to go out there and just start swearing for no reason, but it was loose, like we weren't going to. You can just kind of, do what you got to do over there, where this one we keep it G-rated.
Yeah, keep it G-rated, yeah.
Yeah, you get more hits that way, and YouTube has language bots that'll pick out swear words and they will push you to the back of the line sometimes. So,
well, I'm sure these guys have got kids and grandkids, and or if they don't have grandkids, they will by the time this race is over.
Oh, Ken answered my question in the YouTube chat. He does have a car painted by Rodney Mountain Dew for the NXS 20.
I wonder why we don't. Well, I know he came in a little bit late, but shouldn't we have that one?
Nah, he probably just didn't upload it. Bob Sire in the chat there as well. What's going on, Pumpkin? Bob Sire's YouTube name or screen name is Pumpkin.
Now, what happened to the guy? Wait a minute. Let me go back here. Because didn't we go? I got to put it on live first.
Currently, Graham McDonald in first.
There was a guy, remember we said his number was 309 or something, and we went and got his car. What happened to him? He didn't even start the race, did he?
Yeah, it was like Tom Heinrich.
So, yeah.
He didn't have a car anywhere, and then I guess he was just practicing, and then he left.
Oh, okay.
Same with Mingus. They were practicing the whole time, but then when it came down to the race, they left. I used to do a fun thing, speaking about the other mods. There's a couple of series I've run in that run the original mod. So the original stock game, right? They'll run a track like this that shipped with the game, and they'll run the original Cup mod. So I was like, oh darn, I need to make do I have to make a paint scheme for that? I'm like, no, I don't. I pulled the hard drive off my bookcase, plugged it in, and I went into my NASCAR 2003 backup, and I found an original paint job that was actually dated November 2003 that I made, and it's garbage. But I just I used it. Didn't edit it, didn't do nothing because I've always run the 72.
Right, gotcha.
Didn't have to change the number, didn't have to do nothing. I just went and I literally went and got a 22-year-old car file and I race it. When I raced the original Cup mod, that's the one I race it. It's funny because on the back it says, coming soon, Half-Life 2 2020, or it says, coming soon, Half-Life 2 2004, spring 2004. It says it on the bumper. It's a Half-Life 2 car. And that's the paint scheme that I made for it. And it's not half bad, but it's funny. I'm like, if I'm going to race the original mod, I'm going to race an original paint scheme that one of my first ever paint schemes, I still use it if we run that mod. And it's a lot of fun to see it out there, what? Like you said, with the Aero 88 series, you're going to be running at ASR. Why not run the old points collecting system?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, well, we're going to base it in the 80s and 90s. Let's
make
the
racing
points.
great again.
Yeah, do the points system they used back then. So, which is how the game operated, which is how NASCAR operated until 2004 or 5 when they changed it all anyhow. So.
Now I'm riding with Dan Lovell on this last restart. Looks like Pat McCarskey's out front again. But it looks to me like he's trying to get lined up and work with the 8, the 44.
Yeah.
Ulysses is out there by himself, and he's just a rocket out of the gate.
He likes that high line.
He does.
I wonder where the
looks like
sweet
Dan
spot
Lovell
is
might
on
try and
this.
follow him.
Yeah. Oh, Bynum moves up.
They're up there. They're up there coming on to the backstretch, 3 wide.
That's the thing. Finding the lane that works the best here, I'm not sure where that is. We haven't really been green long enough to notice.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. I don't think they've been green long enough to really figure out the quickest way around yet. Especially as your tires wear and your fuel goes down. But we haven't seen any of that because we haven't had, 3 or 4 green flag laps? 5, 6 maybe?
Yeah, it is sort of built. I notice a lot of the times it's built into the texturing on the track. So you'll see in the turns how it's darker. They would sort of sync that up with the configuration file. That dark line will be the grippier, the more gripped up spot. So kind of in the middle, maybe, that might be the fastest. But you do see some of these guys riding just above that. And I don't know if there's a sweet spot. Maybe that's where they're getting loose. If you get just above it and throw 2 wheels up there, everything goes around on them.
That could be, that could be a part of it. But again, these tires really need to heat up before they start sticking. Because these cars on the first few 4, or even like you said, 5 laps, they are really tight. I mean, they're going to go right to the wall if you don't hold it down and get out of that throttle. It's just like you said before, it's like ice. They'll get them heated up here, looks like.
Yep. A good point from Bob Sire in the YouTube chat. Looks like the pace car is winning. I wonder if the pace car has led the most laps. Let me check. Yes, the pace car has actually led the most laps. The driver that's led the most laps is Pat McCarskey with 21, and then Randy Waugh with 10. But we've been under yellow for 36. So even Randy Waugh's led laps and Pat McCarskey's led laps combined are still lower than the pace car's led laps at 36 to 31. That's not a good stat. It's unfortunate because there's so many great races, but sometimes it's just not going to happen. Everybody just has an off night sometimes. We've done a lot of broadcasting on this channel in the last, I don't even know how many years we've been doing this. I don't know if I've ever seen this many yellow flags in a race before.
I've been a part of races that have had this many, and believe me, it's frustrating. I could even mention Ken Roberts again. Last year he put on that King of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
And if you remember what they did there was because there were, Bristol, Texas, I think Homestead and Talladega or Daytona. I forget which 4 tracks, but it was like that. And it was a 1-night or a 2-night event with different tracks like this. And again, it's so difficult to get what they did there was they put a caution cap on. And they said, after 6 cautions, if we have that many,
race is over.
The next caution, the race is over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that happened during 2 of those events, and the other ones went, the whole way. But
they'll be like, okay, next flag, next yellow is race back to the line, and it's over.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like they're maybe finally starting to settle down here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're over 2 hours into the broadcast.
Still out there. Looks like he's being challenged for the. Now, as soon as I say that, there goes Keith Bynum. Oh boy, sorry, I was holding my button down.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith went around there. Let's load that up. Wonder if he had help. I don't think so. I think he just. Oh, maybe he did have help actually. It looks like
I thought maybe it looked like Graham McDonald got onto the apron a little bit.
63 just got a little bit loose and slowed down a little bit before the one got into it and helped him around.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
This instant replay brought to you by Primetime Racing League. Go ahead.
I was just thinking. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm thinking that maybe I see the reasoning now because I haven't been around here for this entire season. How many races do they actually run coming up to these? 8 or 9?
I think it's 8, yeah.
And then 3 playoff races.
Yes.
So there's probably 12 weeks. Yeah, so, okay. Okay, so maybe I'm starting to see why the no damage. Because I don't know how their first 8 races went, where they raced at, or how many cautions there were there. But this just seems, I don't know if this is a fluke.
This is a fluke. Yeah, I've never seen this happen. I've broadcasted for these guys on different nights all the time, and I've never seen this. This is just a fluke.
Or if they're actually encouraged to race that hard, being that there is no damage.
It's actually the opposite. I found when we were doing this that it seemed to be cleaner races. But like you said, sometimes it's just not in the cards. Everybody's having a little bit of an off night tonight, and it's just not working out.
We've still got 9 drivers. Blaine, did I lose you?
Nope, I'm here.
You're lighting up, but I can't hear you.
Oh, really? You can't hear me. How about now? Nothing? Interesting.
Well, folks, I can't hear Blaine Donlin what he's saying. His light is lighting up when he talks, but I can't hear what he's saying.
Apparently, Brian can't hear me. I've changed
I got
nothing.
You.
Oh, you got
I
it?
got you. Okay. Sorry about that. That was my fault.
What'd you do? Why is it your fault? Explain yourself.
My volume control mute button switch is on my left ear.
Oh.
Instead of on the cord. And when I went to adjust my headset, I must have turned you all the way down because I could see you lighten up, but I couldn't hear. I couldn't actually. Then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't hear anything. Not even the race, nothing. You know, it's like, okay, it's me.
Yeah, it's not you, it's me.
I invented it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. Be sure to stick with us for these last 60 laps.
Say what?
I'm just kidding. 15. No, what is it?
Let's see.
23-ish.
I predict they are going to go green from this next start to the checkers.
Okay. Me too.
And if I were in Vegas, I would not touch that with a 100-foot pole.
I would, because the odds would be amazing. I could put $100 on that and make $100,000. Very strange. It's just a very strange race tonight. We've never had this happen. I've never seen this many cautions.
Well, the lights are off now. And Brian Lovell's going to bring them down. I think he did pretty good earlier when he was leading them down. I don't think Graham McDonald will put too much pressure on them. They know they got a little ways to go.
Yeah, and this is a weird thing because all these guys are great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, these guys aren't new to this at all. Every single one of these drivers knows what they're doing. It's just a strange race.
Yeah, they're all seasoned veterans, but like I was saying, kind of touched on before, I don't know that many of them have raced on this style of track together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they come from, they're all, you know, because this is a fairly new league. This league here, PRL, is only, 2 years old. So these guys were racing in other leagues, you know, around the community, but not necessarily together like this. Now, the Big Stone Gap team, consisting of the Levels and Denny Carroll and Randy Wall, you know, they've raced together, you know, forever. I couldn't even answer to how long those guys have been racing together. And I can only speak to them racing at the super speedways because I don't know how they do together here, but hopefully, as Brian brings them down to the green flag again, we'll see him spread out and maybe get some rubber down.
Do you guys have open setup at ASR? Is it like a night where it's open? Whoa!
And just as I say that, yeah,
the
Brian
44
got really
just
out of
locked
shape
up
there.
the brakes. What happened
I think
there?
he might have felt it starting to go around and just tried to get it woed up.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't go around.
That's what you have to do. Yeah, to save it, you need to get on the brakes.
Back out of it, yeah.
To make it lock back the other way.
You mentioned ASR. On Wednesday nights, we run our Cup Series that's open setup. And that is actually also, it's the, what's that mod? The BR15,
Cool.
the Cup Physics. Those are the big boy cars. And they are open setup. So, I mean, if you want to try the very top level that you could reach in this game, that's basically it. Because it follows the Cup schedule. So I mean, we race every track that you see on TV.
Oh,
you know,
really?
Oh yeah, they follow the Cup schedule.
And that's on Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's on Wednesday nights. And they also follow open setup, Cup Physics, and they also follow the scoring trend too. They're up to date with the scoring. In other words, it's segment racing. There's 1, 2, 3 segments per race. and then a chase playoffs and all that.
Oh, wow.
Bonus points for winning segments and all that. It's scored up to dates along with the up to date tracks and schedule. So I mean, if you wanted to try cup racing, cup sim racing, that's as high as it gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the Open is a big deal.
Yeah, see, now like this is almost, I would almost consider this like fixed, because I love fixed setup racing. It levels the playing field, or at least it's supposed to. All these cars are basically set up exactly the same. And if you're a viewer watching this and you were brand new to this, and you saw the garage area where you tinker with these cars to try to make them go faster, it's very intricate and very detailed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as like front
spring
grill tape
load
and spring,
all kinds of stuff.
yeah. Camber and spring load and ride height and grill tape and everything that goes into it's very difficult to learn and know how to set these things up to go faster.
You can adjust the angle on your rear spoilers. Camber. You can adjust your toe. You can wedge, track bar adjustments, spring,
weight distribution, all that. Yeah.
I think it's not just left and right springs. It's actually all four tires
all
individually.
Four, yeah.
You can adjust spring stiffness, tire pressures. Pressures you can actually control during pit stops, because you can't get all those adjustments on a pit stop, but you can still adjust your track, your wedge, individual tire pressures on a pit stop. What else? Grill tape.
Yeah, not to mention weight distribution.
Yep, brake bias.
Brake bias. And then on top of that, you have your physical equipment settings, steering ratios, and there are some things you can do, like steering assistance on here, or some of the settings but it's very difficult, man. I never really was a huge fan of open setup racing, but over the last year, man, I've learned a lot from these guys about how to handle these cars, and really it helps you improve when you do get into a fixed setup.
Well, that's the thing, and there's so many people that are willing to just help. If you have a question, lots of guys to answer those questions. Lots of resources online also with, if your car is doing this, what can you do to have it, to remedy that? Like if you're loose in and tied off, or maybe you're getting tight at the end of a run. There's all kinds of things that can be changed.
Yeah, and there's certain adjustments you can make, like you said, track bar, wedge, grill tape and stuff. You can make those changes in the pits during a race. So like at the end of a super speedway race, you've got 5-6 laps to go. Throw the tape on it and hope it doesn't overheat, but it will make your engine run hotter and faster. You know what I mean?
More downforce. You can tell.
And the neat thing about the sim, as far as that aspect is, you can actually feel it in your wheel. You can feel the car drives differently if you set it up differently. You know what I mean? So if you find that, like you say, sweet spot, and everything's clicking and everything's going good and you're pulling away, and then the game throws you a blown engine, or, wait, something's wrong. We couldn't get the tires on,
Yeah.
Random stuff that happens.
It's great.
But you strip a gear out. Now you don't have third gear to start a race at Talladega, and it's like now what? You know what I mean? You have,
and that's the thing. Like, I should get into some open racing, because it would be neat to kind of be able to control all that stuff again. And I always did it offline with the AI, obviously, because it's not an option. You have to do it, but it's neat to be able to chuck some air in a right rear or something, to tighten the car up or loosen the car up. Where'd that pace car go? Look at that jet flying back there. Look at him go. He's speeding. Yeah, where are you going, jet?
Well,
this is what we do under caution. We follow the jet.
Oh wow, I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
You got your animated stuff on. There's a helicopter too.
Yeah, there's the chopper is around here somewhere, but yeah, we're
Should
waiting.
see the blimp out there somewhere too, right?
Yeah. There's the pace car. Lights are off, so he will be headed.
Where is that jet going? It looks like he's good driving.
He's going. He's out
wild.
for a rip, bud.
That is wild.
Yeah.
He crashed into the side of the mountain.
Yeah. It's one of them pilots that forgot how to pilot.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know that we should put another jinx on this, but I've already said once or twice now that it would go green. And here we go again. Graham McDonald leading down. Brian Lovell, Denny Carroll, Randy Waub, Greg Lovell, Ulysses Sandoval still in it.
All these guys are in the chase.
Yeah. Oh, Graham really loose. And
Randy
they are
Waugh
crashing
around.
again.
Whoops.
I would not be surprised to hear some tempers flaring at this point.
This caution lap brought to you in part by Crown Royal. Get yourself some Canadian whiskey. Brewed right here in Guelph. I should check out the
Lane,
distillery.
does this whisper come out over the broadcast?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Mics are on.
Okay.
Brian and I had a little meeting in silence. Well, no, we didn't. Yeah, when you whisper to me, I can hear it in my headphones, which means it will.
It comes to the broadcast.
Team
Okay.
Speak channel, yeah, that will always be broadcasted. Whispering to me on a broadcast doesn't really work. It makes your voice sound cool though, because I have a filter on the whisper that makes it sound like a CB radio.
Oh, neat.
So that's what it was cool when we were doing like Talladega Nights broadcast. I always had Jeff Elliott on a whisper button. So when he whispered us from the track, he'd be in the car. It would sound like he was
actually in a car. Yeah.
A two-way radio communication. Yeah, it was a neat little
that's cool
thing
stuff.
for TeamSpeak. It's a plugin on TeamSpeak called Radio FX, the actual letters F and X. And it's a little bit of a deal to get it installed, but once you do, it's pretty sweet. And it helps me too when I'm driving, because if I'm in the TeamSpeak channel, I'm hearing everybody talking. But then if somebody whispers to me, their voice sounds different. So now I know to hit my whisper button and not broadcast it out to the whole channel. So that's because there's a visual cue of the red dot, but when you're racing, it's hard to see that. So that's why I wanted an audio difference. So when somebody whispers to me and I'm driving, I can, this guy's whisper. Like you and I used to whisper to each other all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And I could always tell when you were, because you would sound like you're on a CB radio. And you can control the settings, like how distorted it is and all that kind of stuff.
Plus, you'd hear that little psst.
I shut that off. I hate that. Yeah, that's why I needed that's why I wanted the like radio effect. So at least it changes the person's voice instead of doing that little chirp thing.
It's like TeamSpeak's got some pretty funny quirks. Like
it's neat though.
If you type to somebody, it does the same thing. It does that little, but it'll say, "Hey, wake up." It'll be like, "Psst, hey, wake up."
Yeah, it's cool.
Pay attention to me.
It's an old software, but it's a lot of fun. Works great.
And we were talking about early days of this game. I remember Pal Talk and like Roger Wilco.
I was just going to say that.
Like that. Yep.
Chris Elliott in
all
the
those
chat.
voice chat programs.
Yeah, Chris Elliott in the YouTube chat. What's up, Blaine and Brian? And he asks, "Is it time for breakfast?"
Oh, good Lord!
It's a 2.5 hour broadcast right now, almost.
What's the pert near time? Oh, it is pert near my bedtime.
Pumpkin had a good comment there on YouTube. The voice effect on TeamSpeak for Jeff Elliott sounded like he was a 3-pack a day smoker for the last 30 years. That is true. It does make your voice sound pretty bad, but at least we knew where the voice was coming from. It was coming from a loud NASCAR in a 23-year-old video game.
Well, I hope you and I aren't like boring the audience with our conversation here, because it's
turned into the Blaine and Brian show because we're trying to.
How many cautions is this now? Like 10?
11
10? 11?
11, no, 12 for 47. Thanks, Chris. He's tailing us. We're doing a great job. It's good to hear Blaine and Brian. Yeah, Rod could not make it this evening because Rod is racing a real car at a real track in real life. And he probably got real busy. I mean, he's probably busy winning stuff because that's usually what him and his team do.
Yeah, if he hasn't been in or texted you yet, he must have had a good night.
Yeah.
He's got one of his kids racing now too, right?
I don't know if it's his kids or the gals that are on his team.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just got home. Sorry, buddy. All good, dude.
Well, I won't say I'm glad that he wasn't here, but I will say I'm glad I got to be here, man. This is,
That's cool.
It's been fun to broadcast again.
Yeah, he texted me about 5 after 9. So he actually just missed it because he has to be in before qualifying before he can actually join the race and call it, right?
Oh,
so
I
when
see.
they're qualifying at 1:45, he missed it by about 15, 20 minutes. But it's all good. That's how we got Brown Wolf on deck. Next week, same plan.
Yeah, hopefully, if you have me back next week, that he will be here, and I'll still be able to get in here and add a little color for you guys.
That'll be good, especially with a final race scenario where we're going to have to be crunching numbers live. It'll be, if one guy disappears for 5 minutes and kind of works out the what ifs. Plus, we're at a new track at Spartan Speedway, so it'd be kind of neat to have a 3-man show. We'll see what happens next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Especially because I'm going to have to go now, and didn't quite realize this earlier, but I'm going to need to get that track.
That track will be on the TeamSpeak, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yep. Getting ready to go green here again at the start of lap number 77 when we cross the line. This restart brought to you by Primetime Racing League. The 63 car of Keith Bynum leads everybody to the start. As we come down
Let's
the
see
front
if we
straight.
can't get him to go green these last, 11 laps.
Yeah. Nope. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Good save. Holy moly.
I had my wrong camera view on. I didn't see it.
The 41. Check that out. I mean, he went to the back of the pack, but it was a really good save by the 41.
Oh, wow, I guess.
Yeah. He actually saved it twice. He got loose, a little bump Ulysses, and then the 8 actually straightened about.
Oh, there they go again.
I
was just going to say, I want to keep an eye on that 21 because, like we talked about a lot earlier, when it comes down to these last laps, he's going to have to make a move to get around Greg Lovell, or Greg just pads his lead just all that much more.
Yeah.
And as it stands, it looks like Greg Lovell. Well, I know Randy got up there and led some laps, so he got those points. Now Greg Lovell's in the lead now.
Somebody's into a closed pit down there.
So the 21 really needs to finish ahead of the 8, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It might not, if he finishes second to Greg, that might not be so bad because the points difference in first and second isn't that much, but he would still mathematically have a chance next week.
41 entered a closed pit. So
I don't know why he would do that because with no damage on. Unless, I don't know. Can you still strip the gears out of these?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, damage is off, but obviously tires and engine problems are still a thing.
Okay, yeah. That 24 car still looks dented up to me.
Yeah. Your damage is off, but you can still take damage.
Still see dents in them.
You hit it hard enough.
Every one of these cars has been knocked around at least once tonight.
Yeah. This caution flag is brought to you in part by TSL Express. How many stickers are on Ulysses Sandoval's War Wagon? I'm going to say too many. Look at, they're even on the guy's legs. Even on his flagman's legs.
Oh, good Lord.
My
that
gosh.
That thing looks like a...
Oh, it's obnoxious. He should be disqualified just for having too many advertisers.
You know, Ulysses is definitely in a garage band somewhere.
Yeah. I'm trying to slow my camera down. It's way too snappy right now. There we go. MSD Ignition, Conoco, Edelbrock, Noss, Bell, Lucas Oil. Like, look at all this stuff. Come on. What's going on here? Subway restaurants.
So what have we got left? 8 laps, 7 laps?
It will be 8 right now. It will be 7 when they hit the line.
I'll tell you one thing. If Pat McCarskey wins this race, I will lose my mind.
That'd be great for Pat. He's in the chase. Yep. Thanks for everybody for watching this broadcast.
Yeah,
hopefully Brian and I are
sticking with us if you did.
Yeah. We usually do post-race interviews, but we'll have to keep them lickety-split style because we are already into overtime here now. We're over the 2 hour and 30-minute mark.
Yes, we are. It's 11 o'clock right now. Well, there's only, 7 left, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to do a little rush job on the interviews after. I don't know that the admins here are going to be really in the mood for interviews.
No, it could be entertaining.
It's just been a rough night for these guys.
And stuff like this happens every once in a while. These guys are all fantastic drivers. It's just a weird anomaly. I know I've raced with these guys. I've broadcasted for these guys, and I've never, ever seen this.
I'm thinking maybe... now, are these CTS physics?
Yes.
Okay. So if it's the CTS physics, I'm not sure that these guys just haven't had enough practice with the setup that's been provided for them. I know we talked a little bit about that before the race, actually, when Dan was up here, and I was asking him about the setup, and he said that it was one of his. And I don't know that these guys have practiced on that setup enough and just, I think maybe a lot of the practice they're getting with that setup is coming right now. You know,
Right.
So it's just hard to say. It's there's a lot of factors involved. These guys, but I will say, these guys are the best at what they do. They're all veterans. They've been around for at least 10 years, and if you take all that combined, it's all these guys are good, really good individually and as teammates. But tonight, I think is just some kind of a fluke. I've never seen this many cautions in an 80 lap race. Never.
No. Me neither.
And I know it's frustrating for them. I mean, I've been in races with a lot of cautions and stuff, but usually the admins will take over and say, hey, look, one more and we're shutting it down. You know what I mean? This ain't right. And
I think that might be an issue that they don't have that rule, so they got to let it run.
Yeah. And God bless these guys for sticking it out. You know what I mean? I know Ken Roberts went around earlier, and I think he just kind of gave up on it. I mean, he's nowhere. He hasn't raced here, so I mean, he's nowhere in the points. But so it really wouldn't matter to him. But these guys that are in the points, they have to stick it out. They have to. You can't quit now.
Yeah.
And here we come to this. Hopefully, the last green flag start here.
Thanks to everybody in the YouTube chat for watching this thing. Chris Elliott said the pace car definitely gets the bonus points for leading the most laps tonight. The Goodyear blimp just the Goodyear is making a killing with the tire changes. More tires are coming in. They just ran out. The blimp is dropping off more. Ken Roberts and Chris Elliott in the YouTube chat.
I don't know. I might see more trouble on the horizon, as I know a couple of these guys are not going to let Pat win this race.
No, and Ken Roberts in the YouTube chat actually said protect the bottom, Pat. So, I mean, Pat is definitely...
And he goes around.
Going around and...
Collected Denny. And Greg Lovell will cross the line first, which leaves 4 laps. Blaine, if you wouldn't mind shutting my mic off for just a minute, I got to step away for just a second.
Roger. Brian Lovell running for more coffee. Greg Lovell currently took over the lead there. Makarski went around and brought out caution number 15. Thanks everybody for watching this evening. Lots of interaction on the YouTube channel. It's an anomaly of a race with so many yellows. It's sort of turned into a Blaine, Donlin, and Brian Wolf podcast where we're just sort of chatting and trying to keep it going here. So hopefully we've been doing a good job in trying to keep it entertaining for you. I'm getting a little bit dopey with all my free cam work. Just trying to keep it lively. But this is race number 2 of the 3-round playoff. So let's take a look at those stats again. Greg, Randy, Brian, Denny, and Dan. Your top 5. Currently top 5 in the race. Greg Lovell, Randy Waugh, Ulysses Sandoval, Dan Lovell, and Graham McDonald. Graham McDonald being the only driver not eligible for those points, it's the playoff points. Greg's in a good spot. He's in front, leading the points coming into this race, leading the race right now in the final laps. Randy Waugh right behind him. Great spot for Randy. He will receive, if the race was to end now, Randy would receive from second place 5 bonus points. But Greg being in front of him in the standings would also receive 15 bonus points. Behind him, Ulysses Sandoval did not start last week. That's why his points right there, you can see read 1,000 even. When they start the playoffs, everybody was reset to 1,000. Ulysses couldn't make it last week. I guess he was at a race, Indianapolis, a couple weeks ago there. The last race number 1 was a couple weeks back, actually, Memorial Day. Ulysses was at the Indianapolis 500. Eric Lovell and Gary Mingus also at 1,000 and have not started any of the playoff races, actually. They're not here this evening, and they weren't here in race 1 either. Pat McCarskey is currently running 8th in this race. Keith Bynum is currently running 6th. Dan Lovell is currently running 4th. Denny Carroll, 1 lap behind in 9th position. Brian Lovell's in 7th, Randy Waugh in 2nd, and Greg Lovell is in 1st. As we come to the stripe, I'm assuming the lights on the pace car will go out. Brian Wolf has returned.
Are we going to see 1 lap shootout here?
It looks like we might. I'm thinking, I was just going to say that the lights are probably going to go off this time through.
And if you look, just like I was talking about earlier, Greg's leading, and there's Randy Waugh, the 21, in that catbird seat.
So the discussion in the YouTube chat right now is interesting. Ken Roberts asks, does Randy do the bump and run on Greg?
That's what I'm looking for.
You know what I mean? Like that could be pretty crazy if he does. That would be amazing. Just push him out of the way and take the win with more bonus points.
Denny Carroll's right there. He could steal it. He could steal it
Denny,
also.
Yeah, see, Denny's currently in 4th in the points. But yeah,
Denny could hold it wide open on that last lap and hope it sticks.
And who knows? You know, the Ulysses is in here in 7th currently. Did not start in race 1.
Look at Darth Vader back there, back and forth, just waiting to pounce.
Here we go. The lights are going to go off or not? I'm going to say yes.
They're off.
Oh, they are. Oh, yes, Denny. I forgot.
Denny,
yes.
Yeah, he's a lap down, so he's going all the way around to the back. Okay.
I just mentioned that he was a lap down. Totally forgot.
Single file starts with Greg leading and the 21 in 2nd.
Yeah.
This could be the most exciting lap of the race right here.
Now, this race has been a long one. There's been a lot of yellows, but Ken in the YouTube chat, if Randy puts the bumper to Greg and just spins him out and wins this thing, he's not. But you would not in post race in a post race inspection, like that's not going to pass.
Yeah, I would think he would suffer a penalty that would cost him the win there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, I won. I'm like, well, pending review, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Spun the guy out on purpose. Well, I was trying to draft him.
Ulysses,
like, really?
Ulysses down there clowning, trying to crowd him.
Oh, wow. Well, it's a shame we're all out of time, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. And join us on Tuesday at 8:15
we'll just
at the Maverick Cup Series. I'm just kidding.
It'll just freeze frame and say to be continued.
Everybody just lost their mind.
Here we go. Oh, Randy spun him.
Oh, yeah, he did.
But he's still got the run with 3 behind him. Greg will protect the bottom.
Oh, yes, he will. Yeah, Greg will definitely stay down there on that dirty stuff.
Oh, Randy's going around.
So Randy's
Ulysses is still there.
Yep.
Ulysses is still there.
That's a great
because they are racing back at this point.
Yep, that's a great turn of events for Ulysses. The yellow's up, but it doesn't matter. They got to race to the checker, so they're full speed all the way.
And here he comes. Greg. Can he squeeze? Nope, they're wrecking behind him still.
Great run for Ulysses, though, man. He didn't make race one, but he got second place. He gets the bonus points for second. Ulysses did lead a lap today too.
He just
And he
runs
got
up
him.
into Greg.
And he got
Man.
him.
Oh, good Lord.
Jeez.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. What's one more, right? Great run for Ulysses because he did lead one lap tonight. So he got the 5 bonus points, second place finish, and an extra 5 bonus points for getting second.
Let's see where Randy actually did come up. He's already retired it, so.
I hope they don't shut the server
Denny
down.
Carroll
I gotta save the
Disco
replay.
disconnected. Randy Wall looks like I'm showing on my standings come up 7th.
Okay.
So I mean, they'll have to work this out and see if anybody's going to be penalized any laps or anything. I'm not sure how they work that. Maybe that's something we can talk to Dan about here in a minute.
Yeah, everything's always pending review. At the end of these races, it's always unofficial results. So right now we're going race 2 of 3. I'm just getting all the stats and the replays saved up. All righty. Thanks everybody for watching. That was very, right down to the last lap there. Ulysses being able to start this race and actually come out second with a lap led. He led 1 lap. And so that's a big deal for him. He gets the 5 extra bonus points for the second place finish, plus the 5 extra bonus points for leading the lap too. So if he can pull out a win in race number 3, depending where Greg ends up, it's still up for grabs.
Yeah, on the next one, for the next race, it would be the last one, right? So Greg would have to have an awful race next week and go out early
Mm-hmm.
To put all those points between the two. But yeah, mathematically, there's still one,
Still a
2, or
chance.
3 of them that have a chance. Yeah,
That's the thing. Like the bonus points, it makes it possible. Having that big win bonus is kind of nice because it can throw a wrench into that final race.
Yeah.
Ken Roberts, thank you very much in the YouTube chat. Great job, guys, on the broadcast night. Good night, all.
Thank you, Ken.
I'm out. Congrats, Greg.
Thank you, Ken.
Good night, yeah, Keg and Chris, Elliot, holding that together. Bob Pumpkin Sire in there as well. Thanks everybody for interacting this evening. It was a long one. We're almost at 3 hours.
Yeah.
So let me just
now,
see
is Dan
here.
going to bring these guys up, or are we going to talk to anybody?
Who do you want?
Well, don't we normally do the top 3?
Yeah, I'm just trying to collect all the stats here, so I can grab them. Who do we need? I'm just trying to figure that out.
Well,
actually, right now.
Greg won unofficially. Ulysses was second, and Brian Lovell third.
Okay, I'll bring Brian up. Here he is. Interview him. I'm still gathering stats and stuff. Brian Lovell live on the broadcast.
Yay, Brian! Good job tonight. You kind of, all you guys really did a good job just sticking it out, man. That's a lot of yellows. The third place, man. Good job.
Thank you. My knees are killing me, man. That was crazy. Oh, excuse me for a second. I got to stretch my legs out.
yeah. We've been sitting here too. It's
I actually had to get up once or twice.
That was one of those races you don't want to see really coming. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah. We were talking about it.
Yeah, if you watch the replay back of the broadcast, we were just trying to come up with anything that would be the root cause of, and I said it's probably a combination of not having a lot of practice on that setup and being that, those tires had to be ice cold starting the first 3 or 4 laps, and guys were just jetting to the front, before those laps were up, before you could actually do any racing.
yeah. The front left would bind up on you quick, man. In the corner inchy and coming off if you wasn't, real easy with it.
and it about bit me. I saved it a couple times there. I saved it, and it about got me, and then it did finally get me. I knew that setup would, eventually bite me tonight.
Well, God, kudos to all you guys for just sticking it out and hanging in there. I know a few other guys, Ken Roberts, Godfrey, and Rawson, kind of gave up early. I don't know that they could have predicted the rest of the race, but man, it's just I chalk it up to being just a fluke. It's just one of them races. I know it's frustrating. I've been involved in races with a lot of cautions, and it can get frustrating, and it just creates more and more, and it's. By the time you're third way through, or 3/4 of the way through a race, it's already gone.
Yeah, it's just it can be very frustrating, and you can't only cater to yourself. You have to cater to other people when it comes to setups and things. And
right,
I guess sometimes you could get it wrong. I don't know. I don't have anything to do really with it, so. It's a hit and miss thing. Tonight it was okay when we were green. It was kind of iffy, but there was a lot of hard driving too.
Oh yeah, and plus you throw in the fact that no damage. There's not really a ton of repercussions for crashing every other third lap or whatever, but other than drawing out the race. But yeah, third place, man. That's the way to do it. That's the way to stick it out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't have any problem in practice. I was fast, and then I got the pole. Didn't have any problem, and then about halfway through the race, there it come. But I appreciate you guys, and appreciate you, Mr. Wolf and Blaine. You guys. I thank you for what you do.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, it was fun. Yep, good job, Brian. Good luck next week.
Yeah, you guys get some rest.
Oh, yeah, that's where we're headed. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right, we're going to get Ulysses the Papi Sandoval driving the 96 car this evening, pulling off a second place finish. Didn't make it to race one, but led one lap tonight, gets the bonus points for the second place finish. Ulysses, how was the Indy 500?
Oh, it was great. Oh man, it was the first time. I mean, I went out to Pocono, but that time on Indy, I had time to enjoy the track. I went inside the infield, and there was a lot of stuff I went to do. It brought me to tears because it was the first time I brought my family, my whole family. I brought them there, so we all were there to enjoy Indy. The racing was good, and man, I want to go again. I can't wait to next year to go one more time to the Indy 500.
That's cool. I've never been to a NASCAR race. Is that your first one?
Yeah, it was my first time. Seth was there, so we all meet there. And
cool.
Yeah, I went to the museum. There was a lot of stuff inside the infield. It was pretty cool, and see all the people. The noise that people make when they cheer is outstanding. It's beautiful.
You met Seth Cole.
I couldn't have said that better myself.
Yeah, I met Seth Cole, my friend Nick Gunter, and all his buddies, Jovin Anderson, aka Dwayne Johnson.
That's awesome.
Nice, very nice. Good job on your second place tonight, Ulysses.
Thank you, man.
It's a way to stick it out, man. I know there's a lot of cautions and a lot of frustration, showing a lot of patience, but man, you stuck it out and put the pedal to the metal at the end there.
Yeah, I made a charge, but I didn't have enough laps to get it around Greg. But I'm quite familiar to this type of races. I mean, I raced at Maverick, but we have something to learn over here. Maybe change the setup, but I hope the next time we get a good old setup and we get more racing at this time.
Yeah, next week at Spartan Raceway for the finale of this series. Have you ever raced at that track before?
Oh, I own that track. That's my best track in there. I haven't been there, but I have a lot of confidence going there because I remember last time, the previous 2 times I raced there, I raced Josh Mercurio and John Wall, and I was in front of them, but there were some guys who stayed out and saved fuel and ended up winning. And this time, and the other time was in front, right here at Spartans, and I was first between the guys with the stronger tire, with the newest tires, freshest tires, but some guys coasted and they won the race. So I think with speed, I'm confident in speed. We'll see what the strategy will be that next time.
Right on. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I've never seen this track before, so this will be exciting for us to call it.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun one because I'll be back next week again with you, Ulysses, man. Good job tonight on sticking it out, man. I watched you make that charge, and I even called it. I said, if these two get to racing in front of them, watch out for Darth Vader back there. He's coming.
Did you have...
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, did you have any final words before we cut you off? Because this broadcast is running into the 3-hour mark, so we're doing quick interviews so we can get to bed.
Yeah, Ulysses, do your shout outs, buddy. Good job.
All right, but one question: do y'all enjoy my sponsors and my cheeseburger helmet?
Yes,
we got to look for that next week.
I mean, with all those sponsors, I that's my way to afford all my race cars,
Yeah, you need a bigger pit crew box because there's not enough room for all the logos.
Yeah. All right. Big shout out to all my friends, Nick Gunter, Seth Cole, who hopefully I get to see them again, and we'll see them next time at the Indianapolis race they have. Hope to see y'all there. And a big shout out to Mama Sandoval. I'm dedicating this second place because this was her birthday, and I gave her an Apple Watch and a second place finish tonight.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday to Mama Sandoval.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Happy birthday.
Yeah, she keeps saying she's 30, and I'm 22.
Nice. Perfect.
All right. See you guys.
Right on, man. Have a good night.
Yes,
Thanks.
good job,
We'll see
buddy.
you next week. Next week it is. And then we got to go find
Greg Lovell.
Now we're looking for Greg Lovell in the number 8. First place winner this evening, man. That was something else.
What's going on, buddy? Man, I just all the cautions was just so frustrating, man. We didn't have one green flag pit stop.
No,
I don't know, man, if it was, and I don't want to speculate, but I don't know, man, if it was people just over driving, because I didn't have a problem. I mean, you just had to really, really play with the throttle, man. I mean, you had to really play with the throttle. You couldn't just run hard, and because it would get your tires hot real quick.
Because you guys are running a 3X tonight too, so everything should have warmed up faster than usual. Because I know these tracks on cold tires are pretty dicey, but once they get hooked up, they're pretty good. The 3X should have put you in position to warm up quicker, but everybody was just getting loose.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of it's got to do with wheel settings, people running assist, and I think, people might be running too much assist. Because the more assist you run, the more the game tries to keep your car pulled near that preferred racing line.
Right.
The higher you cut that up, it's going to try to keep your car, pulled near that line.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what people's doing. I don't know if that was the problem, because I seen a lot of people running the center of the track, and I didn't think that was a good idea myself.
I think that, and there's a lot of other factors coming into play. I mean, all those restarts, those tires are cold. I mean, I went out and ran a couple laps in practice, and it took me a good 3, 4, 5 laps before it would come in. to where I was comfortable where it was sticking. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it evened out a lot, and then it just started to fall off at the end of the fuel run. But I think a lot of it has to do with that, and plus the fact that maybe a lot of these guys haven't practiced on that setup at this track, and it's, you know, not new to them, but, you know, still, I just don't think they were comfortable enough yet with that setup.
Well, Danny had a setup in, and they said it was too tight. So he went and changed the right rear spring, moved it up one, and the compression or rebound or something, he changed it and adjusted the weight or something. I said, Danny, when you put
can I come in, guys?
I think you put a setup in. You know, my opinion, whether guys are complaining or not, you got to just leave it in and just make them. They got to adjust. I mean, we all have to adjust to it. Not just one guy. We all do. So
yeah,
I
in a fixed setup racing. Yeah, in a
yeah.
fixed setup race. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you put a setup in, man, once you set the server up and put in a setup, that's it. You don't change it. You don't put another one in. You leave it alone. And guys will adjust to it throughout the race, I promise you.
In my defense, though, Greg, I did try to get people to test it with me. You can't test the setup by yourself. And
we was guys complaining about it, though.
Practice earlier in practice, but I only had 3 people in there, and that's not enough people to test it.
Well,
yeah, that's what I was just saying just before you came in, Dan, that I said I think a lot of the yellows tonight attributed to the guys not having a lot of practice on that setup. Running the cold tires on all those restarts was, you know, I know it's frustrating. I've been involved in races that have had a lot of cautions, and I know how frustrating it is, and it makes you even more anxious on every restart you do. You're even more anxious to get those green laps in, and they just don't come. You know, everybody, you know, had at least one tonight.
Yeah, it was a tough race. I made an adjustment to it during practice early on, and I should have never messed with it. It was spot on before that, but I just, like I said, I didn't have enough people in there to really test it with me. And, you know, when you can't test it, you don't really know what it's going to do under race condition.
Well, Danny, I would prefer a tight setup over a loose one. I mean,
yeah, but then you got people like Denny and
Randy
and all that because it's too tight.
Oh well, man. Once you put the setup in, it's it. You don't change it. That's always been.
It's usually the very people that are complaining that it's tight that when you make the adjustments, they're the ones spinning out.
That has always been a league rule, and in any league you race in, once the setup is put in and the server is set up, the setup does not get changed. It just, I mean, it's just always been that way the whole time I've raced.
It was an ugly race, but congrats on the win. That's what I come in here for.
Yeah.
Congrats on the win. And
we are still live on the air, right, Blaine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, congratulations, Greg. You happen to be I really thought the 21 actually did try to, just put it on the floor and get around you there, but I think he spun it on the start. But he kept up with you, and then that whole thing of, letting, feathering that throttle come in, and then Ulysses got around him. I thought he was going to make a charge at you. And then we were watching on that restart. Well, I didn't realize that the 41 was Lucky Dog. And when you came down to 1 to go that last race, he drove around to the back, and I thought, well, he's right there. He's going to hold it to the floor on the outside and win this thing. But right place at the right time, Greg, man. Good job.
Yeah, I thought him and Ulysses was gonna when they went to the outside. I was like, that ain't gonna work on cold tires, especially, man. I knew it just wasn't gonna work on the corner exit. That is because your tires are cold. It's really hard to race up that high on the track. At least for me, it is. I just can't come off the corners that high. When it,
I was
when the
fine on the high
setup's
side.
that
It
quick, when the
seemed pretty
setup's
fast.
that quick, I couldn't. I don't know, man. I just can't. I can't come off the corners like that.
At any rate, yeah, good job tonight, guys. I'm looking forward to next week. Blaine's going to have me back next week, hopefully with Rod this time. But I'm looking forward to seeing that track and seeing who comes out on top. Because really, mathematically, I think there's still a few guys that have a shot at it. Now, Greg, you'd really have to have a dumpster fire of a race next week to lose the thing because you're pretty well padded. But, you know, you never know.
That's it, man. It comes down to the last race. Yeah, Rod missed the start of this one by about 15 to 20 minutes. So, yep, Brian will be in again, and we'll do a 3-man show if Rod can make it. But yeah, it should be exciting because the podium points bonuses definitely lend this thing to be pretty awesome next week at Spartans Speedway.
It stinks that last caution came out. I was going to second place when that happened, man, and I wound up in 8th.
I should have a pretty good point lead because Randy and Deanie finished 8th tonight. So
yeah, you would have got the 30 bonus points too, or the 15 bonus points.
Yeah, I get. I think I get 5 points for the win, and then 15 bonus points plus I get a point for leading the lap. So that's 21 points.
Yeah. Plus, you already had. Does it give the point? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think you were already ahead by
on Randy, or 21.
19, 21. Yeah.
I believe it's going to be a fight for second place because I believe Greg's got it locked up already.
Well, should he suffer some unfortunate accident next week?
There'll be like a classic like James Bond oil slick in like the pit stall or something. Like, what happened? Woo, 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 woo.
We'll pull a Tanya Harding on him next week.
Sorry about all the cautions, and I know it's an ugly race, but it happens on these game tracks. They're tough to race anyway, and I should have left the setup alone. But you live and learn. We'll get better as we go. It's still an early series, so we're still learning.
Yeah. I was even mentioning during the broadcast earlier about how difficult it is to put these things together. And with the top thing being, and I could hear it in your voice, Dan, trying to keep everybody happy is impossible. It can't be done. I haven't been involved in a perfect race yet, but I think tonight was just a fluke with the cautions and stuff like that. And, you guys are doing a good job with the series. I didn't get to see really much of the other races, but, this one I think was just a fluke, and, it happens,
We got a good setup for Sparta, so fingers crossed we won't have all these cautions next week. I know it's 2 races in a row we've had way more cautions than we should have, and that's unusual for this series because Greg can tell you we normally have very few cautions, and it's just been ugly in the playoffs here. But like I said, we're a young series. We'll pull it together and get better. Just looking to get more participation. So if we can get some more drivers in here, I think that'll make it even better.
I mean, we don't run damage, so you don't have to worry about getting put out of the race unless you. I mean, you can still get engine damage, but it's very unlikely. I mean,
it's more of a driver error where you're dumping gears wrong or something.
Bad luck for that to happen.
Well, I'm going to say good luck to both you guys for next week. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to have to say goodnight, let Blaine wrap this up. But thank all you guys for having me, Blaine, especially you.
No problem, man. Thanks for helping.
Really enjoyed it, man. It's fun to get back to this and do it like we used to. It's really been a good time.
Thanks for your help, Brian.
Yeah, thanks for your help, Brian.
Yeah, guys.
No trouble, anytime.
I'm going to have to wrap it up, too, and get to bed. I got to get up at about probably 4:30 in the morning, so this will be a fun day at work tomorrow.
Thank you, Blaine, for the broadcast. And
anytime, man. Yeah, it should be good next week. I'm looking forward to this track. I've never raced on it. I've never seen it. Sounds like a lot of fun, and for it to be the final, it's going to be super cool, I think. So,
I think it's kind of like
Thanks,
that track that Jeffrey ran. That what was that track called?
Like
He used to run it.
Edgewater or something.
He used to run it in them team races. He ran Homestead, California, and what was that other one?
Might have been. Was it Edgewater? No, can't remember.
I can't think of it either.
Yeah, it was a different one. It was a fictional one, I think.
Yeah, it was, and that's kind of like what I think that's kind of like what Spartans kind of like it, but we've got a good setup for Spartans, so we don't have to worry about
I'm still expecting to do some testing, Greg. This
having a
time.
bunch of cautions and crap.
But again, Blaine, appreciate it, and you go get you some sleep, man, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome.
It was Freedom, wasn't it? Freedom Motorsport.
It would have been. Yep, Freedom. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, yeah. Thanks for doing what you guys do. We'll definitely be here next week. So congratulations on the win, Greg, and congratulations on your 8th place finish, Dan.
Yeah. That was,
but,
I was going to 2nd place, and then all of a sudden got caught up with Randy.
Yep. But yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too. See you.
Well, there it is, everybody. Race number 2 is complete. And I hope you join us here next week. We'll see if Rod is able to make it in as he races for real, in real life with real cars on real track, which is always cool. Rod is a wealth of information when it comes to the garage side of things. You missed this race by about 15 to 20 minutes. But we'll see what happens next week. Brian will be here regardless. If Rod can make it in, we will do a 3-man show. If not, Brian and I will take care of it for him. So yeah, we'll get some updated points for you. Stay tuned. I spelled Pocono wrong. I just noticed that. How do I change that? Right about... Watch this. We're going to change it. Right now it says no. We're going to change it to Pocono. There it is. All right. We'll see you on Tuesday at the Maverick Cup Series when we are at Pocono, not Pocono. And of course, next Sunday here at Spartan, which will be a lot of fun. So anyway, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice. Thanks for watching.